Good morning. Keir Starmer once said, swiftly deleted social media posts shouldn't always lead to prosecution.
But now, as Prime Minister, he backed the jailing of Lucy Connolly for a post that she deleted within hours.
Now, with her walking free today after being sentenced to 31 months, is this evidence of two-tier justice?
Nervous students are waking up to GCSE results this morning as thousands across the country rip open those all-important envelopes. All eyes are going to be on the gap between girls and boys and asking, will that gap grow even wider?
Later this morning, the Home Office will release the latest immigration figures. Pressure is mounting on the government to get a grip on record arrivals.
From pygmy hippos to rockhopper penguins, it's weighing week at the zoo. We'll be live as the annual checkup gets underway and keepers find out who's been piling on the pounds and who is fighting fit.
Here's Baroness Karen Brady. Yeah, both those pictures are her. She seems to be ageing in reverse. She's unveiled a very glamorous glow-up. But are people like her in the public eye setting unrealistic beauty standards?
Good morning. Arsenal have dramatically hijacked Tottenham's £68 million deal for Crystal Palace's England international Ebere Eze. The playmaker's decision to join his boyhood club has left Spurs chairman Daniel Levy facing stinging criticism from his own fans. We'll look at what it all means later this hour.
It's a little cooler out there for many of us this morning. Generally a dry day, though, with some sunshine and some cloud. And that mixture likely to stick with us into tomorrow as well. Join me later for a full forecast.
Just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Do you like to go on a picnic? It's quite an Irish thing to do, to have a picnic, don't you think?
I don't like insects.
OK. What about car picnic? Car picnic? Do you like a car picnic? You know when it's raining outside? Car picnic. Car picnic? Ever had a car picnic?
Picnic in a car.
No, OK.
What, you have a picnic on a carpet?
No, a car.
Oh, a car picnic.
A car picnic.
I thought she said a car picnic.
It's going very well at 2 minutes past 6. A car picnic. You know when it's raining? You like it when it rains? No?
I'm trying to think.
Help me out.
I liked a picnic when you were young and dating, but outside that, why would you bother?
OK.
No, I go to one of the supermarkets, I buy loads of stuff, take it to Dulwich Park or Hyde Park, something like that. I know what you mean about the insects, where they're flying in from left, right and centre. I don't like that. I swat them away, not a big deal. Yeah. But I always have loads of stuff left. That's the only problem. I buy those thins, you know, the thins where you can stack everything on top, like a grape, a bit of pâté, a bit of cheese.
I see, like a cracker.
Yeah.
All right, I see. Well, 31% of British people say that no matter the weather, they love going on a picnic. They'd have one in the car.
Yeah,
it's part of packing up your favourite nibbles and heading outside. An average of 3 a year is what we have. Flasks of tea and sandwiches.
These figures are saying people have an average of 3 picnics a year.
Yeah, I'd say I do that.
More, do you actually believe that?
No, they
you have one every 3 years, 3 a year.
I think it has.
3 a year.
Picnic has repercussions for the upholstery.
Yeah.
Well, it does, yeah. So chocolate bars especially, you'd have to be very careful, wouldn't you?
What I really detest are wasps.
Oh.
Yes.
Of all things, wasps. And then flies and blue bottles.
Blue bottles.
You've got to be very careful with wasps. You know when I killed that wasp with a flip-flop on my last holiday and then the other wasps came after me?
Oh, no.
Do you remember that? Yeah. It's like they know that you're the murderer.
You're taking one of their own.
Yeah. No, genuinely, it's the thing. I Googled it afterwards and they know that you killed them.
You should have gone for the biggest and hardest one first, and then the rest of them would have just gone away.
Well, I know that for again, Aidan.
Main news this morning, Keir Starmer facing fresh accusations of hypocrisy. This is over the jailing of Lucy Connolly. Now, she is expected to get out today, all of a sudden, after serving 9 months in prison. So 31 months was the sentence. Now suddenly it's 9 months after all the protests and people saying, you know, she shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah, it's been a very high-profile case, hasn't it? Well, Connolly, who urged followers on X to set fire to asylum hotels, was sentenced to more than 2.5 years in prison. That's despite deleting the post just hours after she wrote it out and says she regretted it. Now,
critics say Starmer's stance clashes with his own guidance from 2013 Well, there's a surprise, isn't it? When, as Director of Public Prosecutions, he then suggested people who swiftly deleted offensive posts and showed remorse should not necessarily face prosecution.
Well, joining us now in the studio is political commentator John Oxley. What do you make of all of this, John, bearing in mind that Lucy Connolly is set to walk free in just a few hours' time?
Well, I think something we've seen is, over the last year, this is a case that has really become the focal point of the aftermath of the protests and the riots last year, has been very controversial for the government, and has really seen a lot of the opposition really swing behind her and highlight what has always been a quite complex issue of what the criminal responsibility is for social media. And I think it's going to be a debate that's going to continue to run and run as we see other protests developing and just a lot more engagement and popularity and a higher temperature on places like Twitter.
What do you make of what's being unearthed now, which is Sir Keir Starmer's own guidance from 2013? So this is when he was Director of Public Prosecutions, where he suggested that people who wrote messages or offensive messages, something that could be deemed as offensive, but then swiftly deleted them and showed remorse, should not necessarily face prosecution. But then the same Sir Keir Starmer, who actively was, approving of the fact that Lucy Connolly was going to jail.
I think one of the things in this case is the amount of people that saw the post, and I think that's one of the critical factors. And it'd be interesting to see in this broader guidance how much of that applied, because I think this was a post that, although it was quickly deleted, was seen hundreds of thousands of times, and ultimately the position of Prime Minister, you have to be in many ways responsive to what the CPS have done. Rather than when you're the DPP and you're controlling it. And we don't know, how guidance was changed since then. And, really, social media has evolved a lot since the early 2010s as well, when that guidance was written.
What do you make of the US response to Lucy Connolly case? We know that J.D. Vance has been across this case from the very beginning. Do you think we could see a situation where she is potentially invited to the White House over this? There's been free speech concerns surrounding this case for several months now.
I think they're probably unlikely to go that far, but I think it's certainly one of those things that the White House has raised a lot in relation to Europe. There is a very different culture around free speech and the First Amendment in the United States. Compared with most places in Europe, and certainly very different legal position. And it seems, as part of the sort of Trump-Vance ideological project, that's one of the things that they want to highlight and celebrate. But at the same time, of course, we're seeing lots of controversy around some of the pro-Palestine protests in the United States, and they themselves rescinding people's visas over things they've said. So I think it's going to be one of those things that probably does run quite a bit in the balance between US, UK, European relations. But I'm not sure whether they'll go as far as inviting her over to the United States.
OK, John Oxley, thank you very much
Thank you.
indeed. Thank you.
Thousands of students right across the country will be nervously waking up today asking, did I do enough? Should I have worked harder? A-level results, but education experts are warning of a growing divide between boys and girls, which has been dubbed as chronic and a major issue in the education system. But so it's always to be. I remember this in my day, and it was the same. Girls were regarded as what was termed as swats in the day, and I bet your A-level results were much better than mine.
Yeah, they were quite good. Well, I bet yours were good as well.
What was the lowest mark you had at A-level?
At A-level, an A.
Oh, dear God, let's go to Bobby Seagull. Bobby, who's their teacher, and he's a broadcaster.
Maths teacher, as it says on the shirt.
Yeah, which was the worst of all.
Yeah, that was the worst.
That was the worst of all subject for me. But, my friend, what do you remember of this day for yourself? What was your lowest result that day?
So my GCSEs, 9 A stars, and I got 1 A in design technology. I was bereft. No, to be honest, I was actually happy. I'm not going to pretend I was bereft. I was very happy.
Yeah, no, we're very happy, right. So what about, are all these kids going to be happy today? Because it seems to me they get results and everybody passes. I don't really put much faith in A-levels and O-levels anymore. It just seems to be the results are too many high marks.
Again, I think there's generally, I would say, an upward trend in grade. That's probably because teachers are more aware of the syllabus. Students, there's more online information for them to do well. And again, what's happening this morning is at 8 o'clock, schools release exam results. So each school will have their own arrangement. But what's quite new this year, Eamonn and Ellie, is that about 95,000 students will get their results via an app called the Education Record. And this is where in Manchester and West Midlands a trial. So I think the future is students will start getting more and more results online. And what's special about this year's students are these are students who were year 6 during March 2020 when the lockdown and COVID happened. So these students missed out on their SATs. Their transition to secondary was challenging. I remember I taught a year 7 class back in 2020, and they were, the ones having to wear masks and social distancing. So it's a very different period. Generally, what happens is about 2/3 of students get a grade 4 because the letters are gone now. The letters have been gone for a few years. The A stars, A's, B's. Now it's 9-1. So students are all hoping for grade 4 and above. But again, it's a nervous wait for students till 8 a.m. this morning.
And Bobby, what do you make of this gender gap in education? Eamonn's saying that it's always been the case that boys fall a little further behind than girls. Why do you think that is? Do you think that girls can just be swottier?
They're more conscientious. They take things more seriously. And, I go back, 1978 was the year I did my A-levels. And it was always regarded that we went to single-sex schools, right? So it was just boys only. But the girls-only schools all got higher marks than we would have got. And believe me, we were regarded as the smart guys, Bobby.
Yes, to be honest, you're right about girls-only schools do outperform mixed schools sometimes. And what we found is girls' results generally do outperform boys. But last week in the A-level results, what was interesting is at the top level, A star and A, boys marginally outperformed girls across the board in terms of getting decent results. So I'm intrigued to see that again for GCSEs in terms of grade 9s have boys slightly outperform. But girls, I think this is something where you can, people bringing their stereotypes. Girls will work more diligently throughout the course. Boys tend to leave it to the last minute. So the way the exam system is set up, boys, on the whole, when I've taught boys, they sometimes leave it to the end. But generally we're seeing girls do outperform across the board generally, I would say.
Yeah.
And Bobby, are you supportive of this app? You said 95,000 students are going to receive their results on an app. Do you think that's a good thing? I mean, if they haven't done well, they haven't then got the support of the teacher who's standing right there behind the envelope to give them the next steps or the next bit of advice. What do you think?
I think you're right there. I think it's a combination of, I think we need both. I think students should have the ability to access results online in case they're unwell or they're abroad, whatever, multiple reasons. But I think if you're 16 and you've had 5 years at secondary, I remember my experience and my students in the last few years, it's lovely for them to go in, see their peers. And also, as you mentioned, if people haven't achieved the results, perhaps not going to get into their sixth form college, schools can consult them and tell them what they can do in their next steps. So actually, I think we shouldn't completely digitize the world. We are still a human species that needs that interaction.
And Bobby, we talk about the pupils on days like this. What about the teachers? I mean, are these like your results, your personal results as well?
Yeah, obviously, there is a professional judgment. If your classes don't perform, the head teacher can say, "Oh, Mr. Seagull, what happened to this class?" That's obviously true. But as humans, these are young people that I remember seeing when they're 11. Again, this is the first COVID batch. And you've seen them develop for the past 5 years. So you're rooting for them as human beings. You want them to do well. You want them to get the chance to do A-levels or T-levels. So you're massively go on. And you're in some ways, I would say it's more nerve-wracking for teachers because you're like, oh my God, what's been happening for 5 years? So it's a tough day for everyone.
Yeah, well, look, good luck to them. Good luck to you as well. They're very lucky to have a teacher like you, and anybody who has a good teacher is very, very lucky indeed. So congratulations to all the teachers as well for today. We'll be thinking about you. Thanks very much, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you. Isn't it lovely? He said he's just as nervous, just as nerve-wracking for the teachers.
He cares.
Because they care.
He cares. We had, in my day, we had teachers who weren't qualified as teachers as well, you know, so they were academics. In those days, you were allowed to do that. Now you have to have a teaching qualification. And it was different. It was interesting, this sort of mix of people that you had teaching you. But I bet
that was good, though. It's like a wealth of experience that you could pull from. Yeah. That's good.
So, I mean, I really, really enjoyed my time at school, and I missed school terribly. This day when you finally got your A-level results and you left and you thought, what do I do now? and it's a very difficult thing. It's this next decision is important. University, not important. You want to go and do it, go and do it. You don't need to do it. It's like Labour government, right? Tony Blair, education, education, education. Now you get to the situation where they all go, oh no, we need more of our own people working early. We need apprentices. We need all this sort of thing. They've changed their mind.
People with a
you
trade.
have no idea what you're actually supposed to do. So you go and waste 3 or 4 years at university, spend a load of money, and I hope you get the job and the career and everything you want at the end of it. I mean, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a dentist, you want to be a scientist, whatever it is, someone with a skill, university's the place for you. If you don't, do you really want to go there?
Well, best of luck with your results today if you are picking them up this morning. And if you've got children or grandchildren who are picking up their results, very best luck to them as well. Now let's get a check on the weather with Alex Deacon.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, so some grey skies and some blue skies. The winds generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the southeast. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and southwest England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear and with light winds. Might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times of fair, but a cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day, and temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, on Tuesday, we had an appointment at Whipsnade Zoo to watch them weighing animals.
Oh.
But somebody else had an appointment as well. They were too busy to deal with us, and we got it wrong, right? So it wasn't Tuesday, it was Thursday. Today is Thursday. Today is we're going to the zoo, and what they're doing, they're weighing everything from
Giraffes to penguins, and everyone is stepping on the scales. Will be live at the zoo throughout the morning. But first, we're going to be finding out more about this AI-powered tech that's aiming to keep kids safe online. Stay tuned to find out more.
This is our country, and we think it's amazing. From high tea to the high street, we love it all. Even the rain, we like that too. There's nowhere else we'd rather be. That's why we're here to be the fearless champion of Britain, its voices and its values. Because we are GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Now, here's something different, a bit of a technological breakthrough.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Europe's biggest smartphone maker has launched a world-first mobile phone that's designed to stop children from seeing explicit content.
Now, how did they do that? The new device is called Fuse. It features built-in AI, and it scans messages and apps and even the camera that they use, and it blocks harmful material before it actually appears. Developed here in London, a UK firm, Safe2Net, and backed by the government. So the technology has been trained on 22 million images and could soon expand to tackle violence and self-harm as well. Here to talk about all of that is Richard Percy. Richard's the chairman of Safe2Net, and he joins us now. And Richard,
Morning.
honestly,
Morning.
I've been thinking about this, looking at this, and I'm thinking, at last.
At last, absolutely, at last. We've proven the art of the possible. We've proven that it's possible to put AI into a smartphone, so this is a normal smartphone, and prevent children from being duped and coerced into performing sexual acts to camera. So the harm block technology on the HMD Fuse device prevents a child from filming, seeing, sharing and saving explicit content.
See, Richard, we all have, I would be one of these people, this fear of AI, how AI is going to take over the world. I mean, AI could be creating all the bad stuff, but here it is preventing all the bad stuff. I mean, goodness knows, I don't understand it. I don't understand how you get hold of it and then you can manipulate it to do what you do. But do you think this is going to work? I mean, in the point of view, when I say to work, that phone companies are going to take you up on this?
I do, because we've proven that it's possible. What's crucial with this technology is that we've embedded it deep in the operating system. So what that means, it isn't an app. And the problem with apps is they can be circumvented, and children are incredibly clever and very talented, and they know exactly how to delete or circumvent, work around. We've put harm block deep in to the OS, and when you're in the operating system, that means you can control what the device does. Now, this has never been done before. This is a world first, and we would love to think that we're solving that impossible problem where parents, especially now with back to school, do they or don't they give their child a device? They want to be able to access their child, they want to be able to call them, but of course...
They are, what's going on, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've ensured that all these safe measures will be there. But does that mean then that whether you're Nokia or whoever you are, different firms can have this embedded in their devices?
Yes, absolutely. So this harm block technology is designed to go onto any phone. But initially we're working with HMD, the guys that bring Nokia to market, and with HMD and also Vodafone, who've been absolutely brilliant. So Vodafone are launching this for us. They launched it yesterday. And now we'd like to think that other device manufacturers are going to see what we're doing, and hopefully they'll knock on our door and say, can we put it into our phones too? Because the reality is that every phone should be safe the moment it's switched on, shouldn't it?
So is it available from now?
It's available from now, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
available for the new term.
Yeah, just in time. Perfect. I mean, lots of parents will be saying, what has taken so long? Why has this happened before? I mean, as you say, once a child receives a phone, if their parents decide to give them one, it should be safe for use. But, of course, there are so many dangers. So
many dangers. I think what's taken so long is that, firstly, the advancement of AI, and of course this is tech for good, this is a good deployment of AI. We hear a lot about all the negativities, but this is a good thing. The advancement of AI have allowed us to bring efficiency to the algorithms that run on these phones so that they don't burn the battery or destroy the user's experience. But also phones have become more powerful. So basically, it's a perfect collision now where phones are more powerful, algorithms are more efficient, we can design, develop the AI to keep children safe on their device.
So what's the aim, that it would be on every single device, every single phone around the world, that this would just be in it automatically?
Not just phones, but tablets, laptops, even wearables.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Interesting. So the fight back begins.
Yes, come on. Come on, Britain, we can do it.
Well, good luck to you. And it's, you know, you look at it and you think, what's there not to like? We'll see this developing. This is a game changer.
Absolutely.
This is something really different. Congratulations to you and your company.
Thank you very much.
A British company as well, which is brilliant, isn't it? At the forefront of AI. Brilliant. Thank you, Richard. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Time 6:27. Thank you very much indeed for your company this morning, however you're watching, however you are listening.
Now it's time for the Great British Giveaway, and just 2 weeks left to see how you could live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year and have £5,000 in cash as well. But what happens if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, Eamonn?
Well, there's a big cash bonus, a big cash tax-free prize as well. So make sure you don't miss out. Have a go.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
And as if that wasn't good enough, here's the travel situation out there. This is the way the roads are looking.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A77 remains shut near Shallock Park roundabout Girvan after night maintenance with drivers directed to alternative routes. On the M4 eastbound at junction 42 Earlswood, an on-slip closure due to maintenance means diversions are advised. In Windsor and Maidenhead, a broken-down vehicle on the M4 eastbound between junction 8 and junction 7 restricts traffic. Commuters should take caution during peak hours. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Caledonian sleeper services face interruptions in the Wigan northwestern area. Consider alternate plans or check updates ahead of time. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Well, a lot of transfer news going on, and very controversial transfer news as to who's signing for what. A new number 10 for Arsenal. We'll tell you who it is right after this.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie's here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more.
Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racist tonight on the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Aidan and I just going through the back pages this morning. 2 big stories, one involving Newcastle, one involving Palace, Spurs and Arsenal. Tell us more.
Huge drama last night, Eamonn. Shades of Sol Campbell back in 2001, where Arsenal just came in from nowhere and got one over Spurs, quite frankly. Not exactly the same in terms of the machinations, but this is what happened. Tottenham had been negotiating with Crystal Palace over Eberechi, the England international, the scorer of the winning goal in the FA Cup final just a couple of months ago, memorably against Manchester City. They seemed to be quibbling over the structure of the deal. So everyone knew that it was £60 million up front. This was after the £68 million release clause had expired on August the 15th. So after that, all bets were off. There was no minimum requirement for what you had to pay for him. But Spurs felt that they could pay 60 up front and then get some add-ons. It was what the nature of the add-ons were. There was discussions as well, but possibly over giving Richarlison, the Spurs striker, as part of the deal. But Arsenal, having been alarmed at their performance at Old Trafford on Saturday, they did hold negotiations with the player in early...
Sunday.
Yes, Sunday. They did hold negotiations with the player in July, so he was kind of on their radar anyway. And they've just come in from nowhere, recognised there's a problem in their team, and they just said, how much do you want? Laid it on the table. And you know what? I can understand.
How much did they want? 68 million?
They wanted 68. So the release clause up until August 15th was £68 million. A small percentage of that has to be paid to his former club, Queen's Park Rangers, as a part of the sell-on fee. We believe that's around about between £6 and £8 million. So it was after that, after the clause expired, it was 60 plus £8 million in add-ons. Now, Ellie, that can be anything. That can be subject to appearances, that can be goals, that can be further England caps, that can be achievements or whatever. But they seem to be quibbling over a relatively small part of the deal. And Arsenal just came in and said, if you want 60 plus 8, That's absolutely fine. Let's get it done. And you know what? Crystal Palace are not people to be messed with. You know, nobody leaves Crystal Palace until they get what they want.
Yeah,
Also,
but who decides at Palace or Eze? Who decides?
Well, I think it would be Palace because Eze's got some time left on his contract. You compare the conduct of Eze and Mark Gurhey, still playing for their clubs. We think Eze's going to play for Crystal Palace tonight in the Europa Conference League qualifier. Compare that to Isak and Visser and how they refused to play for their clubs at the start of this season.
Well,
to try and get them moved.
this is an amazing signing for Arsenal. It's a great strength in it. And, I mean, that shows they are serious for the title.
Tottenham were desperate as well, though. James Maddison...
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is Arsenal don't win the title this year. Arteta's out in his backside. This is a do-or-die situation where they're going to go ahead of City and Liverpool and Chelsea. It doesn't move the needle now. Where's the needle moving as regard Isak at Newcastle? Because, again, this is all sorts of stuff. Alan Shearer's getting involved in this. And what's happening?
So Alan Shearer has come out and basically... Look, he's never going to support anyone other than his own club, his hometown club, but he's taken aim at the agent of Alexander Isak, a guy called Vlado Lemic, who he said should be sacked on the spot because whoever advised him to put out this statement, he said it was a hell of a gamble. Why do that? Because it's still an opportunity while you're still a Newcastle player that you may have to be reintegrated into the squad. Don't forget, Eamonn, if he doesn't get his move, he's got a World Cup next summer, so he's got to play his football somewhere. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that he could line up for Newcastle in a couple of weeks. And don't forget, on Monday, who did Newcastle play?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Who did Newcastle play on Monday?
No idea.
Liverpool. That's what the computer fixture does to you. But, look, he's taken aim. He's criticised the agent, with good reason, I would suggest. But nobody will be thinking of that if, in 10 days' time, he goes off to become a Liverpool player, which I think still might happen.
Still might happen. Yeah. Window closes on...
September the 1st at midnight.
What day is that?
That is...
Monday, Tuesday?
Something like that. I'll check later.
Something, OK, right, OK.
I don't know everything.
Right, Ian, thanks. Well, you could have fooled me. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Aidan.
Alison Cork, Eamonn Bogo, they're here. Hello, folks, they're here, and they're going to be telling us what has wet their chops in the papers today.
But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast for the top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hot and sunny conditions continue across much of Spain and Portugal. A few heavy showers likely in Croatia. A fairly brisk wind blowing in Sardinia, quite breezy too in southern parts of Portugal. But most of Spain and Portugal dry, fine and sunny. Just a small chance of a shower in Ibiza. Much greater chance of seeing some heavy showers across Croatia. Fine and sunny for most of the Greek islands and Turkey. That will continue through the weekend as well. Goodbye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, you're joining us here this afternoon in the Fylde Memorial Arboretum and Community Woodland, and you can probably notice behind me that things perhaps aren't as big or as grand as they might be at the National Memorial Arboretum, but the sentiment here is just as special and just as big, as people here in this community today have gathered to mark 80 years of VJ Day. And we're in this part of the community woodland that is dedicated to all those people from Blackpool and the surrounding Fylde area that received the Burma Star, and each of those people commemorated here with their own individual plaque. And you can see on them perhaps laying today are yellow, white and green flowers, and that is because those are the colours of the Burma Star Association. So very, very specific and very, very poignant on this day. And at the centre of it all here in this particular part of the garden, you'll notice this lovely obelisk which holds on it the Kohima, which I'll read to you now. When you go home tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow, we gave our today. And that, of course, is a reference to the incredible sacrifice made by all those who served. I actually got the opportunity to speak to a 102-year-old Army veteran who remembers VJ Day.
I was in the Army and we were all doing our usual jobs, and then we found out that it was time to all have a rejoicing time.
And I imagine you must have felt some real sense of relief.
Oh yes, definitely. Everybody knew that they'd be going home soon, and that life, we hoped, would be better for everybody.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Right, we're having a good conversation with Alison Cork. Alison Cork is here to review the papers today, along with Eamonn Bogle as well. Always nice to see you, Eamonn.
Yes.
Not that it's not nice to see you, Alison, but this is my first time with you.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
An absolute pleasure. Right, we're going to start with the migrant hotel situation and the latest fallout, Eamonn, from the Labour Party here.
Yes, indeed. I think Labour in Westminster are facing a revolt from the region simply because, you know what, let's look at the last local election. Labour came in 4th place, shunted down, losing 187 local seats. And it really shows that they're running, A, scared of reform, and B, you know, they're running scared of their local residents who are sick and tired and fed up with unvetted foreign men being dropped in places in and around their homes and communities, putting their local women and girls under threat. And I would say, you know, look, it costs £41,000 a year to house a Dinghiwala migrant by local councils, and that's simply money that is not there. But you know what, Eamonn, I would also say, where are they going to go after being shunted out of these migrant hotels?
Wow.
They're going to be put into HMOs in and around our communities.
Yeah. And this is the thing. I mean, councils across the country are going to have to be really careful about what they wish for, because if you take the legal action and you take it to court, and yes, they're moved out of hotels, well, where do they go? Yeah. What, social housing?
One of the places they're going is Middlesbrough, where we're reporting from today, and you talk about what they do is they change the composition, the sort of historical composition of an area. People are different, people are confused, people see this as alien to them.
Well, you can't pick up someone from Mogadishu and put them in the middle of Merton and expect them to get along and behave in a civilised way when they've come from a very backward alien culture to what we have here in Britain.
Alison, could you imagine wherever you're living and this came and they changed the whole constitution of the area that you were in? You would be scared, wouldn't you?
As a woman, I would definitely be scared. If I had daughters, I'd be very worried about it. And I think for me, what this sort of epitomises is that, you know, fundamentally, we're a fairly law-abiding nation. We want to be governed well, and if we feel we're being governed well, we obey what we're being told to do. But what this tells me is that we're all at an absolute tipping point of fear and concern, and actually avoiding the ultimate question, which is, why are they here anyway? Let's stop worrying about where we're going to put them and stop bringing them in. Absolutely. And then we won't have to worry about that.
I mean, because small boat arrivals, especially at the rate that we've seen this summer, is hundreds of people a week, isn't it? So there is that pressure to find homes for all of them. It's remorseless.
Indeed, Ellie, and I think the only solution here is
deport, deport, deport. It's about...
But can you deport?
Well, of course you can. We need the political will to do it. President Trump has stopped literally 100% of illegal crossings on the southern border in the US. If he can do it, so can we. We need the political will. Look, it's about time that we rattled the French cage in Paris, because for far too long they've been taking our money, our hard-earned taxpayers' money, nearly £500 million, and you know what? They're actually assisting and aiding and abetting the smuggling gangs with the dinghies, crossing them halfway across the channel, and our Coast Guard picking them up and bringing them on the Kent coast.
Now, Eamonn just talks about our hard-earned money that we have. And here's a story on the front page of the Times here. Retailers warn Rachel Reeves that new taxes will hit living standards, right? So they're saying, we talked about inflation at 4%, or not, it could be as much as 4% by the end of the year. And retailers are saying, forget that, it's not. In reality, it's 6%. When you go along to the supermarket, you're getting so much less than you did this time last year.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you know, I used to shop with, you know, just sort of not really thinking about it too much. Now I use vouchers, I look for the yellow tickets. I'm not shy of doing that. I'm not embarrassed about it. But it is absolutely noticeable how week on week things are going up, because, you know, I follow particular items and I can see how the prices are going up. But what really bothers me sort of over and above that is how we're still not prioritising the right type of food. I mean, it's just as a story, I'm just developing a healthy food product, and what I've discovered is that if I was selling a cake or a biscuit, it would be 0 rated. But because I'm developing a healthy food product, it's standard rated. So I'm a 20% disadvantage by trying to sell something healthy.
What
so
do you mean? Are you taxed on it? Or?
Yeah, so you have to sell that inclusive of VAT. So as the person producing the item, you have to strip out 20% and give it to HMRC. Because, so there are many levels of problems with food. One of them is that it is fundamentally too expensive. Our food system is actually broken. We don't produce food or sell it in the right way. 96.7% of all the food we consume, we buy from the 4 big supermarkets. And they obviously control the conversation around the table. In terms of pricing, in terms of what's profitable.
And then the big manufacturers control them.
And the
biggest evil with the manufacturers is America, because America then buys in to our Cadburys and all that sort of thing, and it all becomes different and worse.
And if your government's sitting around the table, you know, how are you going to fight these people with so much commercial power who are sitting there thinking, there's more profit in a packet of Oreos than there is in an aubergine, so we know which way we're going when you walk down the aisles. We want you to buy the Oreos. So there's a lot wrong with our food system. It's not just prices.
Well, I think, Alison, I agree with what you have to say, I think, but also I think the common man and woman sitting at home watching this and probably going to do their weekly shopping at some point is going to think at the economic and fiscal illiteracy of this government. Let's be honest. At the budget, Sir Keir Starmer said, you know, his pledge was to provide good jobs and higher living standards. Now, how on earth does that happen when you think the best way to get out of this fiscal hole that Rachel Reeves has dug for the country is to tax your way out of it? There's already a jobs tax that's gone up. They're going to put now a packaging tax. Can you believe that, on packaging for goods that people are buying? Now, this is adding £7 billion to cost of doing business. It's simply unacceptable.
I was looking at the headlines this morning. They were talking about, you know, what Rachel Reeves is going to do. Mansion tax. If you own a house at £1.5 million, they're going to hit you. This is going to be so popular with people. Yes, it's popular if you live way up north and, you know, the Highlands of Scotland or whatever it is, where things cost £300,000. If you live in London, you're lucky to get away with anything under £1 million. And this whole politics of envy, and my point about them is, why we are taxed to the hilt. We are taxed, absolutely incredible way we're taxed and continue to be taxed. It's painful, it hurts. Why can't they see it? Why do they just squeeze us until the pips come out? Why are they doing this?
Because, Eamonn, the vast majority of the Labour front bench haven't done a hard day's work in their life. Most of them have come out of university, paid for by the state, through the obnoxious student loan system, and gone straight into working for an MP, being a bag carrier, and then becoming a minister. They don't know what it takes to have a hard day's grift of work. But more than that, it's an ideological crusade against anything that is hard-working. Entrepreneurship, aspiration, they don't care about it because all they see is, well, you know what, let's tax, tax, tax. Show me one country in the world where socialism has actually worked. They can't.
It's a really interesting point because as an entrepreneur, what I always say is that what people don't see is that when you start a business, it's at least 3 years before you can even hope to succeed, if indeed you do. And you are effectively underwriting your own losses in that period. And you're living, you know, with very restricted means because you're trying to make this thing work. You don't get rewarded for that. Nobody comes back and gives you a subsidy and say, oh, well done, you've done something for the economy.
I was dying to know what your healthy food product was, so I was afraid to ask you. Can you give us a clue?
Yes, absolutely. It's an absolutely delicious date snack ball. I'm going to bring some in next time I'm here so that you can try them.
No, I don't try dates too often, but when I do, I like a date.
They're high energy.
They're very nice.
They're high energy.
It will not spike your glycemic index.
Yeah.
It is utterly delicious. And the reason I'm making them is because every single person I used to give them to, just for fun as friends, would say, oh, my goodness, Alison, this rubbish that masquerades as protein bars. If you actually analyse, sorry to go off piece, but if you actually analyse a protein bar, what so-called healthy bar, some of them have up to 45 ingredients.
Just chemicals, isn't it?
They're chemicals. It's added sugars and sweeteners and oils and flavourings and just stuff you wouldn't want to put in your body if you really read the label.
Well, now that you've told us all about it, Alison, I'm sure Rachel Reeves is cooking up a tax to put on.
No.
The thing about food inflation, though, which makes it so difficult, especially when it's at 6%, is people have no choice. You've got to eat.
You've got to eat.
You'll go to the shops, you still have to fill up your basket and you still have to pay whatever it is at the end.
And the choice thing, I don't believe they say choice is there. I don't really think it is there for people. You go into the supermarket. Yeah, and Alison was saying that basically how you go in and you're directed down the Oreo aisle as opposed to the avocado aisle or whatever.
It's very simple. So, you were saying, Ellie, quite correctly that, people are going to be looking at the price. And if it's cheaper to buy the breaded whatever or the deep-fried whatever or the Jaffa cakes, which it would be because they're 0 rated.
But they're also 0 size nowadays.
Shrinkflation's a whole other thing. It's a whole other thing.
Most chocolate bars are not what they were, especially not Turkish Delight. That
don't let
gone.
Absolutely.
Get started on Freddos.
We're cheated.
Don't get started on Freddos.
Have you seen the size of a Mars bar?
Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. I'm old enough to remember what they should look and taste like.
Alison, let's have a look at the Mail. We're having a good conversation about this in the break. Calls for a smacking ban are growing in England.
Right. Well, I'm against the state telling us what we should and shouldn't do and how we should and shouldn't parent, but I do think there's a much bigger conversation here. I'm a huge fan of this whole intergenerational living concept, which we don't really practice in this country, and they do abroad, particularly in places like Japan. And it's effectively what it does is it brings generations of, well, first of all, it cares for your elders, but it brings generations of wisdom and knowledge and that whole thing about, it takes a village to raise a child into play. And I think that we're missing out on that. We're missing out on all that intergenerational wisdom, layer upon layer, that would actually bring much more nuanced parenting to the table. But fundamentally, I'm against being told what I can and can't do. Interestingly, in my family, I did smack my children occasionally when they were naughty. My husband never ever has. But what was really interesting is that I was sitting in a cafe yesterday. Most mornings we try and meet the family, my 2 boys, my husband and myself, just for a quick coffee and a hello.
That's nice.
And one of the serving staff came up to me and said, I just want to tell you that of all the people who come into this cafe, you're my favourite family. And I said, why is that? And he said, because you're just such a lovely family. I was so touched because as a woman, I'm looking at you, Ellie, because you're going to go through this. When you're a working woman, you often have that have I done this all wrong?
So you're saying smacking did them no harm?
I'm saying smacking did them no harm, but obviously it's got to be in context.
OK, I've got to cut you off there. Alison, Eamonn, thank you very much indeed. They're back again.
Here's the weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, so some grey skies and some blue skies. The winds generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the south east. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and South West England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear and with light winds. Might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times a fair bit of cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day. And temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A77 remains closed in both directions south of the Shallock Park roundabout near Girvan due to overnight roadworks. Drivers should follow signed diversion routes. The M4 eastbound has ongoing roadworks at junction 42 Earlswood, with the on-slip currently closed. On the A52 westbound, congestion is causing 10-minute delays between the A46 and the junction with the A6011. Normal traffic conditions are expected soon. And on the trains, major disruption continues with Avanti West Coast and Caledonian sleeper services around Wigan North Western. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
What does it feel like to be a Great British Giveaway winner?
That's a big surprise.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
Do you know what? I've never won anything like this in my life.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
That is absolutely fantastic.
We're over the moon.
Yes, that is fantastic.
You know, you have no idea how much I needed it. Oh my goodness.
You've won £54,321.
Please don't joke. This would change my life.
Oh, thank you so much. I was gobsmacked. Thank you, GB News.
I'd say don't hesitate, do it. If you're not in it, you've got no chance of winning it.
Thank you.
You weren't expecting to get that call today, were you?
No, I wasn't.
You really could be our next big winner. Head over to gbnews.com/win now to find out how and get your entry for the Great British Giveaway. Great prizes, even greater wins.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30am.
Only on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8pm, only on GB News.
Good morning. As Keir Starmer once said, swiftly deleted social media posts shouldn't always lead to prosecution.
Well, he says a lot of things, but now the Prime Minister has backed the jailing of Lucy Connolly for a post she deleted within hours.
Well, Lucy Connolly possibly walking free today after being sentenced to 31 months. We're asking, is this evidence of two-tier justice?
Students, probably quite nervously, waking up to GCSE results. Thousands across the country rip open those envelopes. All eyes are on whether the gap between girls and boys will grow even wider.
Later this morning, the Home Office will release the latest immigration figures as pressure mounts on the government to get a grip on record arrivals.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. Talk like you.
I don't know what that first animal was, but it was big, and they're going to be weighing it.
It weighed a lot.
I wouldn't want to weigh that bear, I have to say, but it's weigh-in day at the zoo, and we're going to be there today, hopefully live, to see who passes the test and who didn't.
Arsenal have dramatically hijacked Tottenham's £68 million deal for Crystal Palace's England international Ebere Eze. The playmaker's decision to join his boyhood club has left Spurs chairman Daniel Levy facing stinging criticism from his own fans. We'll look at what it all means later this hour.
It's a little cooler out there for many of us this morning. Generally a dry day, though, with some sunshine and some cloud. And that mixture likely to stick with us into tomorrow as well. Join me later for a full forecast.
1 minute past 7 o'clock. A very good morning to you on this Thursday morning. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Couple of big transfer stories over the back pages of the papers today, which keeping you very busy today, Aidan. But that Eze story, and you say that there's criticism at Daniel Levy, the Spurs owner and or the chief executive, wherever he is there, criticism towards him. How and why has the Eze transfer fallen through?
For them, for Tottenham, yeah. But let's just wind it back just a month or so, because Arsenal did see Eze as a realistic target. They held talks with the player. He actually met face-to-face with Mikel Arteta. They seem to have cooled their interest for a number of reasons. So Tottenham filled in the breach, and they recognised that with James Maddison having had a serious injury and Heung-min Son having left for the MLS, they needed.
And playing rubbish against Man United on Sunday.
Well, for Arsenal, yeah, they played poorly, but Tottenham went into negotiations with Crystal Palace. They seem to have delayed, Eamonn, over some quite minor details. It's about the add-ons, about the structure of the deal.
Well, it's going to cost them now, isn't it?
Well, it is, exactly, because, it looks like Arsenal have nipped in and stolen the deal. Incidentally, Eze is going to play for Crystal Palace tonight. UEFA Cup. Is
he?
Yes, he is, yeah, which is tribute to his attitude, testament to his attitude, because look at Isak and Wissa, they won't play for their clubs. Gayhe's going to play for Crystal Palace tonight as well, even though he's been linked with other clubs. But it looks like the deliberation is what's cost Tottenham on this. And
just
that's
reflecting your views at home, Sean saying, is it me? Or is 60 million quid for a footballer obscene?
It is, Sean, obscene.
Absolutely, Sean.
It's not. It's what they're worth.
No, it's not. They're not worth it. They're not worth it. It is disgusting when you look at the state of the world and what goes on in the world and who gets paid what in this cost of living crisis. It is absolutely obscene. That's my view about it.
Lots of you getting in touch today on the stories that we are talking about. We're talking about supermarkets warning that food inflation could be at 6% later this year. Angela says, my oven never goes on and I hardly cook anymore. I live on salads and Slim Fast shakes, as that's just about as much as I can buy. I buy less and less now. Even my favourite tipple is all had to go.
Now, I tell you what's had to go as well. We're talking about smacking children. And
yes.
Whatever. Are you sort of insinuating that no one ever smacked you?
Oh, no, I was whacked as a child.
Yeah,
but this was the early 90s, and I think that was acceptable then. Whereas in the papers today, it's saying that 8 in 10 parents now say it's unacceptable. You never lay hands on a child.
No,
So I think it's changed.
Yeah, totally changed. I agree with you. I just think it's anathema. I mean, I remember, you know, my parents, there was 5 boys in our house, and it was just whack, whack, whack. That's what the whole day.
And were you even being that naughty?
No, but when your parents, you know, when my father's hands, he was a working man with big hands, and when they whacked you across the thigh or whatever, and you watched it rise up, the imprint of his hand on your
My
thigh.
second eldest brother would have been one of the last to get the cane, because they abolished that in this country in 1985. And I remember him coming back, and it used to be that if you got a smack at school, if you got hit at school, you got even worse at home. And my mum and dad were looking at his wounds, if you like, 3 stripes. We thought he was sponsored by Adidas. But...
very good.
My mother would have said at that stage, you say, you know, got slapped at school bum or whatever, and she said, well, she'd have slapped you harder.
And that's changed as well. Parents wouldn't be on the side of the teachers.
I've got a few smacks, but I do think there's an alternative way of dealing with things.
Yeah, no, it's
gentle parenting now.
Yeah, fair enough.
To speak gently.
Fair enough.
Let us know what you think on that one. You will have a view. gbnews.com/you'll say.
At 7:05, our main news today, Keir Starmer facing fresh accusations of hypocrisy over the jailing of Lucy Connolly. Now, as Ellie was saying, she's expected to be released later today. She has served 9 months in prison.
Well, Connolly urged followers on X to set fire to asylum hotels, and she was sentenced to more than 2.5 years in prison. That's despite her deleting the post just hours after she posted it, saying she regretted.
Critics say Keir Starmer's stance clashes with his own guidance from 2013 when he was Director of Public Prosecutions. He said then, people who swiftly deleted offensive posts and showed remorse should not necessarily face prosecution. Well, in the studio now, political commentator John Oxley. John, what do you think of this?
I think it just adds to the ongoing debate that we have around freedom of speech, freedom to post online, and where the police are getting involved in these things and where they're prosecuting people.
But, John, who would have decided, who would have got involved with Lucy Connolly? Who would have decided, oh, hello, I think it's time to let her out? Does that come from Downing Street?
No, that would have almost certainly come from the prison service, who look at how you manage offenders. They look at where there is space in jail, how people are progressing with the things they're expected to do in prison, and demands on the systems. That's very unlikely that Downing Street has got involved. That's something for the prison authorities, and probably at quite a low level, the probation service and whoever operates the prison as well.
She had an appeal against her sentence, refused 3 times by 3 Court of Appeal judges. What do you make of that? I mean, so many people were saying that it was overly harsh at the time. Is that something that you thought?
The big difficulty with her appeals was that she pleaded guilty at the first instance, and it is very, very hard to successfully appeal when you have already said, yes, I did this, and particularly appealed on the way the plea works is they look at the severity of the offence, and she accepted a plea that put it at the level where you go to prison. It's very hard to come back from that. And what we've seen recently in some of the other cases it's been compared to is people have not pleaded guilty, they've taken the risk, they've gone to trial, and there they've been acquitted by a jury. And so that's one of the risks where if you go with that early plea, generally you get some leniency for that. But if you go to trial, you have the chance that the jury will acquit you.
But, John, politically, her release suits the current mood in the land, does it not?
Yes, it does, and this has been a bit of a cause célèbre for the right, particularly around the right to protest, the right to say things online, and the ongoing protests around the asylum hotels. And it'd be interesting to see, particularly now, if she tries to harness this and is more vocal, or if she is someone who wants to put all this behind her and sort of disappears from the public eye.
That will be interesting to see. What do you make of the accusations of hypocrisy towards the Prime Minister, because it has come to light now that in 2013, when he was Director of Public Prosecutions, he suggested that people who swiftly deleted offensive posts and showed remorse should not necessarily face prosecution. But when it came to Lucy Connolly's case, he supported the judge's decision to grant her that 31-month sentence.
I think what what the government will say and what Keir Starmer will say is the big difference here is the context of that post. There are people who post offensive things, not very many people see them. The difference is when public order is involved and when you have disturbances to the peace, a lot of offences are treated more seriously because of that. And I think in all of these cases, the law is there, but we always have to have a bit of leeway and a bit of understanding. But the big danger for Lucy Connolly and the big difference between a lot of these other offences is it was in the context where disturbances were ongoing and it was seen as playing into that. And that's quite different from someone who does an off-the-cuff remark that no one really sees.
OK, John, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
10 minutes past 7 o'clock on this Thursday morning. However you're watching, however you're listening, thank you very much indeed. Great to have your company. Students right across the whole country nervously waking up this morning to find out GCSE grades.
But education experts are warning of a growing divide between boys and girls, which has been dubbed as chronic and a major issue in Britain's education system.
Well, do you know what I think's really unfair about this? Because if it is, and it was the same in my day, that girls got better marks and maybe were more conscientious, whatever. And yet, when you get out into the big world, the real world there, I think they are discriminated against in terms of jobs. I may be wrong, but I think it is harder for you as a woman to get recognised and get the position you deserve than it would be for blokes who may not have the same qualifications as
I know
you.
what you mean, yeah. Women are generally less assertive than men, aren't they, in terms of going for jobs?
I wouldn't say that.
I
wouldn't say that at all. But anyway, let's go to my favourite school teacher of all time, from LVS Ascot, Christine Cunniff this morning. Christine, very good to see you once again.
Good morning.
Morning,
Christine, are you nervous today? We talk about the kids, but you as a teacher and as a head, are you nervous?
I think I've got used to it to a certain extent. This is my 16th year as being a head teacher, but you will get that butterflies, but it's excitement as well as nervousness for the children. So it's a lovely morning. This is always a brilliant morning, and I'm looking forward to seeing the children later.
Right.
Well, tell us about this cohort, because they were, in March 2020, they were in year 6, weren't they? So they didn't actually sit their SAT exam. So this is really their first opportunity and their first go at proper exams.
It is, but I think schools have been preparing children for this, obviously with mock exams and end-of-term exams as well. So it does seem a distant past now, but they are the first cohort to come through from the primary school. And I think it looks like the results are going to be broadly in line with where they were last year, which is really good. I don't think there'll be any surprises. And I think, I think the children have done really well.
And tell us about getting the results digitally as well, because this year's different, where 95,000 students across the country are going to be receiving their results on an app. Is that something that you are supportive of, or would you rather they come into school and get the support from their teachers in person?
We've emailed out for a number of years now, so for us it's not new. But the children still come in. Some of them will choose not to see what they've got until they've got their envelope. Some will see and then come in and they celebrate with their peers. But also today it'll be children signing on for the sixth form, confirming their choices. Because what they wanted to do 6 months ago, now they've got the results, it might be completely different. So again, this is looking to the future today.
What if, we're talking about kids who are 16 years of age or so. What happens if they don't get over that hurdle?
It's always a tricky one, and there are going to be those children that don't get those magical 5, 4 to 9 grades, but it's not the end. We all make mistakes. There may have been issues why children can't get those grades, and there are opportunities to retake, go to college, find courses that suit you, and find sixth form places as well where there are more vocational subjects. The main thing is to talk to your teachers this morning and say, what does it look like for me next? Because there is something for everyone out there. You just got to look for it.
And Christine, just finally, what would your message be to students who are nervously trying to eat their cornflakes now, about to head to school to pick up their results? What would your message to them be?
they take a deep breath, come and enjoy today, celebrate everything that you've done. If there's any disappointments, don't worry, you can get over it. But let's celebrate today, because I think the young people of this country, they need as much positivity as possible.
And is it 8 a.m. the results come out, Christine?
Yeah, literally 8 a.m. and our children will be coming about 10 o'clock, but I'm heading over now. So, yeah, just in case there's any early people in. So
hope it's a good day for the kids and for you, Christine. Thank you for talking to us again. Thank you.
Thanks, Christine.
Breaking economic news this morning. Public sector borrowing was £1 billion in July. That means government spending was higher than the money brought in. Well, there's a surprise. Through taxes and other incomes. It is 2.3 billion less than in July last year and marks the lowest July borrowing figure in 3 years. Now, the drop was partly because of higher tax receipts, quelle surprise, and lower government spending compared with a year ago. Oh, I don't know about this. Lower government spending, that's going to change, isn't it?
Well, economists say falling borrowing could give the Chancellor slightly more headroom ahead of the budget, but Britain still faces a high overall debt burden, with total public debt now worth around 95% of GDP.
Right, let's just take a break and bring you the weather. Here's what it's going to look like.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, there's some grey skies and some blue skies. The wind's generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the south east. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and South West England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear, and with light winds, might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times of fair bit of cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day, and temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
And now time for the Great British Giveaway. We love giving away. We love if it went to you. And there's just 2 weeks left.
Yeah, to see how you could live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year and then have £5,000 in cash to spend on whatever you like. But, Eamonn, what do you do if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay?
You get a big lump of...
Cash?
Cash is the word. 15,000 quid, and it's tax-free, so the government can't get their hands on it. There you go, and it's going all to you.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 20th 29th of August for another chance to win. Text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You're all talking today, and money's top of your list as well. Gary says, I think supermarkets are raising prices beyond inflation. Same with a lot of shops. I understand they have overheads, but things are priced way above inflation. It is just greed. Claire says, I'm so sick of this government with the management of my money and the management of budgets. I really do now consider mine and everyone else's money as being stolen, which is criminal. They take money saying one thing, use it for something else, then coming back for more. We'd have better odds in Las Vegas, says Claire.
We've also been speaking about a smacking ban because 8 in 10 parents now say that it's unacceptable to slap a child.
You want me to tell you?
Oh, yeah.
I say, like, I was smacked as a child and whatever, and, you know, but I literally couldn't do it.
Oh, because you're a big softie.
Well, you love your children so much.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I mean, they can infuriate you and you can try and punish them in other ways, whatever at times, but to actually physically hit your child, I could hit people. There's a lot of people I could hit, but
not your children. So you
no.
never smacked your children?
I did.
Oh.
I had one of my 4 children, who was different. It was a bit temperamental, and to my shame, I actually stopped the car one day, pulled him out, and smacked him on the side of the road.
Oh dear.
Yeah. But
did it work? Was he well behaved after that?
No, goodness me, he's still as bad today, and he's 32. But no, besides that, I would be ashamed of that. I would be ashamed of that.
I think it was very normal.
But I've got my daughter. I mean, I could never have done that to my daughter.
Maybe it's different with girls. I think a lot of people would say it's different with girls.
Could be.
Let us know. Pixie says you are not your child's friend, you're your child's parent, and they need guidance, so it's okay.
Okay, guidance maybe, smacking, no. We're going to the zoo next. This is amazing. We've got all these things like pygmy hippos.
Yeah.
That's not a pygmy hippo. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
But anyway, it'll be wed. All the animals are going to be wed. Some sort of census going on for them. And it is a sort of census of their weight. You know, thank God no one's doing the census of my weight. As well. Not only that, but celebrities setting expectations for how you look. Okay. Do you think that they are the people you've got to aspire to, got to look like? Do they set you good examples or bad examples? And we're going to be debating that next.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. Now, Baroness Karen Brady appears to be defying the ageing process after she released an image looking totally unrecognisable. They're both her.
Yeah, but you see, you can't. I mean,
Before and after.
The one on the right just looks completely different. I know Karen. I've known Karen for years and years and years and years, and I would walk past her in the street there because I wouldn't recognise her at all. I don't know what that is she's done and how she's done it, but is that the right thing to do, to change how you completely look? This is like a different person.
Well, she's got a lot of followers, hasn't she? A lot of young followers as well. I think she looks absolutely incredible. But it has led members of the public to question whether these reinventions are setting unrealistic beauty standards for the rest of us who follow them online.
You see, that's you all over. You are totally in favour of everything that changes and does. You always, I mean, her and I sit in the morning and we look at papers, we look at pictures of people and criticise them and whatever, but and she's always supportive. Oh, looks brilliant, looks gorgeous, look whatever. But it's a look.
It's a look.
But what about all the people that look the same?
We are all starting to look the same.
Lips.
It's
no,
true.
not we. I don't look the same as anybody.
Women, though. Yeah, women, because it's a trend, isn't it, I think?
Well, is it a trend? Etiquette expert Dana Mather and TV personality Kerry Katona, who I'm sure hasn't had a thing done in her life. I mean, I've known her for a long time as well. What would you consider to have done, Kerry? What do you think, or what have you had done?
Oh, I'm like an Etch-a-Sketch under these pyjamas today, I am, Eamonn. Honestly, I come in a cardboard box. You've got to put me together piece by piece every morning. I tell you what I have had done. I had my eyes done last year because my hoods were getting to become really heavy. And the way I look at it is, if you have sticky out ears or you have a skin tag, no one frowns upon that. But if you have extra skin that's starting to drop down, that's like, oh my God, why have you gone and got that done? But I don't do this for anybody else. I've done this for me. And Karen's in her 50s. I'm 45 in 2 weeks. Eamonn, you can send me a present or a birthday card. Cash is okay as well, by the way. So for me, I'm in my 40s and I feel I'm entitled to have little tweaks here and there. I would certainly not have anything done early on in my 20s like the young uns do today. I do feel a lot of these things that are influencing the younger generation are the filters.
Yeah. No, I have to say...
And that's my opinion. I don't think it's so much someone like Kris Jenner or myself or Karen we're older, we've had our children. I think, let's have a mummy makeover. I think I'm entitled to that. I think we are allowed to do that. But what I get upset about with, and I kick off on my children, and I don't allow them to use it, I am on here on national television right now, no makeup, in my pyjamas because I got the call really late. I don't care. I'm not here to impress anybody else.
Right.
You look amazing.
I don't like... Oh, well, that's because I'm my eyes done.
But I totally agree with you. I can't see your eyes close up to see. Are you happy with the eyes?
They look good. Look lovely.
I hadn't done like over a year ago now. All it was, you know, I could start. It was making me eyes feel a bit heavy, so I had an uplift. But what I don't like is when children...
You don't look Oriental or anything, do you?
Well, I just wanted the skin removed. I didn't want to change my face. I just wanted the skin that was hanging over my eyes.
All right.
The key thing is, Kerry, is you're open. You're open about it, aren't you? And do you think, Diana, let's bring you into... We'll bring Diana into the conversation. Because, Diana, it is important, isn't it, I guess, if you've got a following like Kerry and you've got lots of young people following you, to be open about these little tweakments that you might have had done?
Yes, I think so. I mean... I've got grandchildren of 21 and down to 7. And my older two, in fact, excuse me, they are French. There seems to be a whole thing now about wanting to be real and not wanting to see people who've had all the enhancements just on a Zoom, never mind in real life, which I think is a really healthy trend. Having said that, Kerry, that operation you've had is brilliant. I think this morning I do need it, actually, but normally I
look beautiful.
But a friend of mine had it, and she said to me, I said, God, you look so well. And she said, why? She said, tell me. And I said, I don't know, you just look fantastic. She said, here's my eyes, I've had them done. And I think that sort of thing is really good.
Yeah.
Skin tags, all that sort of thing, great.
Yeah,
but
and
it's good to look yoga.
It's good to look age appropriate, Diana. I think anybody, if they look well for their age, that's fine. And I agree with everything that Kerry has said there about if you have some sort of deformity on your face that you can correct. I think that why not? That's well and good. But should you, Kerry, actually change yourself to a degree, not that you have done this, but some people who have done this, change yourself beyond all recognition?
No. I think I like to be, if you can't accept me for who I am, then don't accept me at all. I have surgery for me for little tweaks here and there, and I'm not here as a role model to encourage anybody else to do that. If my daughter wanted to go and get her breasts enlarged, I'd be like, wait till you're in your 20s and then make your decision. Again, referring back to these filters, that these young girls use filters to make their face look different, and then when you see them in person, they don't really look like that. And then the young uns want to go get the face look like the filters. That's what I think the problem is. Not people like Karen, not people like Kris Jenner, not people like who are in my age, but I think we're entitled, and if we have the money to do it, anybody would kind of go and get that stuff done. I mean, I won't lie, I'll probably end up getting a little neck lift or getting this lift, but I would never change the soul and sense of who I am for nobody, because if you don't like that, then you don't deserve me.
OK, Diana, Kerry. We're out of time, I'm afraid, ladies, but thank you so much, Diana and Kerry. Really good to see you both today. Good chat. Thank you very much.
And apparently you're not allowed to describe someone as looking Oriental, or I don't know how I would then describe Kerry Katona if her eyes change shape. I don't know how I'm going to say, does she look like someone from some other country in the eastern of the world? The world is ridiculous. How you have to apologise for people. I mean, if she painted herself, I don't get into this. But anyway,
but Kerry looks beautiful.
Kerry looks well, and I'm sorry if you don't look well, and we've offended you in any way, or well, I don't know.
Anyway, do stay with us.
7:32.
Coming up, a scathing letter from the Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp accuses Labour of fuelling a migrant crime wave and demanding emergency deportations. We're going to be speaking to him next.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Motorists on the M621 eastbound between junctions 6 and 7 face delays due to roadworks, with 2 of 3 lanes closed. In Wigan, drivers experienced disruptions on the M6 southbound entry slip at junction 25 due to emergency roadworks closing 1 lane. The M40 southbound in Warwickshire is closed between the M42 southbound and junction 15. The M1 southbound entry slip at junction 16 in Northamptonshire is fully closed. Repairs on the M25 clockwise entry slip at junction 21 in Hertfordshire have led to 1 lane closure. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We now cross live to Westminster. We're going to speak to the Shadow Home Secretary, Chris Field. Chris, good morning to you. Chris, you've got a big connection with the Bell Hotel, very much in the news, because when you were Immigration Minister, you decided to use it as a holding centre.
Good morning. Well, it wasn't a personal decision, but we also closed it down when we realised it wasn't the right place. The Conservative government closed that hotel. We also managed to reduce the number of hotels by about 200 in our last 9 months in office, and had that trend continued, by now there wouldn't be any asylum hotels at all. Unfortunately, what has happened since the general election is that in the first 9 months after that election, the number of people in asylum hotels, far from continuing to go down, in fact went up by around about 10%, from 29,000 to 32,000, because Labour has lost control of our borders. The number of illegal immigrants crossing the Channel has surged under Labour. It's gone up by 47% since the general election. This year so far has been the worst ever, and because of Labour's border crisis, we're seeing people still being accommodated in these hotels. But now councils are fighting back, led by Conservative-run Epping, and we're now calling on other Conservative councils to look at legal challenges as well.
Chris, just
and
briefly,
many are doing so, including Broxbourne next door.
Yeah, just the question now is, if they're not in hotels, where do these migrants go? Where are they housed?
Well, I think the first point is they shouldn't be getting to the UK in the first place. I mean, the reason people are in hotels is that illegal immigrants are crossing the English Channel in record numbers under this government. That needs to stop. How is that going to stop? Well, we need a deterrent where 100% of people arriving illegally get immediately removed, either back to their country of origin if possible, or to a safe third country if not. Now, if everybody gets removed immediately on arrival, pretty soon people are going to stop bothering to try in the first place. I mean, common sense tells you that. And a similar approach worked in Australia about 12 years ago. They called it Operation Sovereign Borders. Now, when we put that plan to a vote in Parliament just a few weeks ago, which included repealing the Human Rights Act for immigration matters to make it work legally, what did Labour do? They voted against it, and because they're being so weak on borders, we've got the worst ever year for illegal crossings. So that is how you really fix it. You stop the problem at source by stopping the illegal immigration in the first place, which is completely unacceptable, and it's unnecessary because no one's fleeing war in France, obviously.
But Mr. Philp, can you appreciate that there will be viewers and listeners who are so frustrated listening to you speak this morning, considering your record on this issue? As Immigration Minister in February 2020, only 2,400 people across the Channel in small boats, just 2 hotels in operation. By the time you left your job, there were 149 hotels in place and 25,500 people across the Channel. So the number of small boat migrants and the use of hotels had exploded under your watch.
Yeah, well, the small boat crossing started around about that time, but we took, in government, pretty decisive action. We halved the number of hotels in our last 9 months. Our last full year in office, 2023, we got the boat numbers down by 30%. And had the Rwanda plan started as intended in July of last year, I think we would have got those numbers down to 0.
But we'll
just
never
like
know,
Australia
will we?
did
We'll
with a
never
similar
know
approach.
because you called the election early. We'll never know if it will work.
Well, and I think. Yeah, and you know what? I think that was a mistake. I think the election should have been called later to enable the Rwanda scheme to start. But what was also a mistake was the fact that Labour cancelled that Rwanda scheme just days before it was due to start in July last year, with no replacement plan in place. And that is why numbers this year have surged crossing the Channel, and this year has been the worst ever. I mean, it's been, what is it, well over 25,000 so far this year. That is the worst ever, worst year in history for illegal migrants crossing the Channel, because Labour cancelled the Rwanda deterrent before it started with no replacement plan. The crisis today is the worst it has ever been in history. There was a plan which they cancelled. We tabled another plan just a few weeks ago that would have fixed it, but again, Labour voted against it.
Well, it's not fixed, and they're still coming, and they're being put up in hotels. Are you heartened by what happened in Epping to the Bell Hotel? And I believe Kemi Badenoch is saying, gather yourselves and try it elsewhere, challenge other hotels that are holding migrants.
Yeah, that is exactly what Kemi is saying, and she's right to do so. Epping, obviously a Conservative-led council, has sort of started this with their successful challenge, and many other Conservative councils are now looking at doing the same, including Broxbourne next door, Hillingdon, Reigate, and many others, because they are sick and tired, rightly, understandably sick and tired, of these asylum hotels housing mainly young men, pretty much all of whom cross the Channel illegally and unnecessarily. And of course, we've seen reporting of some of the crimes being committed. Hundreds and hundreds of migrants in these hotels have been charged with criminal offences, including the sexual assault of young girls. So people are understandably angry, and that is why other Conservative-led councils will be, I think, mounting legal challenges as well, supported by us nationally, by me and by Kemi.
But briefly, Mr. Philp, we are out of time with you. Do you need to be careful for what you wish for and what these councils across the country are wishing for? Because if asylum seekers are moved out of hotels, but then moved into houses of multiple occupancy or moved into social housing, homes that British people need, I mean, that's not the right answer either, is it?
No, it's not. And in fact, I wrote to Yvette Cooper just yesterday asking for her assurance that people being moved out of the Epping Hotel, about 150 people, I believe, should not be moved into flats or into HMOs, because exactly as you say, there are young people here in this country struggling to get onto the housing ladder, struggling to find affordable accommodation, and it would be deeply, deeply unfair if apartments and rooms that they might rent, British young people might rent, get instead given to illegal immigrants for for free. There are other accommodation options. We had a barge in the past. You can put up prefabricated, temporary accommodation on empty sites, all kinds of options the government should be pursuing. They should not be moving people into apartments and HMOs, and I will be tracking the data very carefully to make sure they don't do that. I am very suspicious that what the government plan to do is move people out of hotels and into those flats, but that would be completely wrong because there are lots of young people here who need those apartments. But let's not forget, the reason this is a problem is that Labour has lost control of our borders, and the numbers crossing the channel are the worst in history. That is the root cause of this, because the government is too weak to take the action needed to fix this.
Shadow Home Secretary, thanks for your views this morning. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now do stay with us. Still to come, what do you think 1 in 5 Brits do in their sleep? Well, Alison Cork and Eamonn Bogle will have the latest on all of that just before the European forecast.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hot and sunny conditions continue across much of Spain and Portugal. A few heavy showers likely in Croatia. A fairly brisk wind blowing in Sardinia. Quite breezy too in southern parts of Portugal. But most of Spain and Portugal dry, fine and sunny. Just a small chance of a shower in Ibiza. Much greater chance of seeing some heavy showers across Croatia. Fine and sunny for most of the Greek islands and Turkey. That will continue through the weekend as well. Goodbye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
And it's time, of course, I'm joined today by Hollyoaks star Cara Jansen, who found herself in a legal nightmare after her children were unlawfully detained in Sweden by her ex-husband and had to go to the Hague Convention to get them home. It's a very shocking story, international custody battles, legal loopholes and a warning for any parent in a global relationship. Well, I'm pleased to say that actress Cara Jansen and also your mum is Debbie Arnold, very famous lady, joins us now. So, Cara, God, this is a story. Start from the beginning.
Oh, it's been a very, very difficult time for everybody, you know. But, yeah, like you said, we found ourselves in a very difficult situation where we were faced with a legal battle trying to get the kids from Sweden back to the UK. From the very beginning, I just thought he was being truthful to me. Of course, you do. You think, I love this person, I trust this person, of course I'm going to absolutely do this. But as it turns out, I think, unfortunately, it was a plan. And that's why we found ourselves in the situation we were in. And it kind of unravelled before my eyes, you know. It was very...
Well, what happened? So as it unravelled, what was the first thing that unravelled?
Well, you sort of found out, well, because we moved over to Sweden for this trial period on the basis of, you know, all these promises. And it was... Of course, you then kind of put your kids in school there because you're trying it out. And then, you know, you add them to the medical system and they're suddenly ingrained in the system there. And then when it all kind of breaks down, you realise, like, actually, that's a very, very difficult thing to come out of. And it was obviously a premeditated decision, you know, to get everything over in Sweden, because then it's near enough impossible to get out.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers with entrepreneur Alison Cork and political commentator Eamonn Bogle. Morning, you two.
Morning.
Eamonn, let's start with the front page of the Telegraph, shall we? It's GCSE results day, and the state has failed white working-class pupils, says Bridget Phillipson, Education Secretary.
Isn't it quite an indictment, Ellie, of where we are as a country, where I remember, well, I'm old enough now to remember hearing the same exact thing so many times over the last 2 decades. I remember growing up as a teenager, Tony Blair talking about this. He said back in 2005, he said, let's not cancel the aspiration of all. He was talking about the failings of white working class pupils. We heard it again from David Cameron in 2016, talking about the lack of achievement. And now we're hearing about it again. 17% is the number of what white working class pupils were achieving as 5 good GCSEs, including English and Maths. And that's simply not good enough. I think for far too long in this country, I would argue that we've paid far more attention to getting ethnic minority children through the system, when, let's be honest, some of the best performing children are from ethnic minorities, British Chinese, British Indians. And also, I think a lot of people don't understand a lot of underachievement in pupils, certainly from the white working class communities, is that the breakdown of family and family structure.
I just think the pendulum has swung too far in the wrong direction. So very recently, 2 examples, medical students banned, white medical students banned from applying for internships, and the intelligence services offered an internship which was not open to white applicants. I mean, how is this possible?
Well, I mean, exactly. I think if there's any systemic racism, that is exactly it. Yeah. I think merit has been thrown out the window for far too long. I think it's about time that we cancel this DEI vote bequest nonsense. They've done it already in the US, and it's about time that I think we followed suit here. Merit has to be primary.
We should take courage from what they've done in the US, because, you know, he did it and the world didn't stop, you know.
Alison, look at that story about in The Guardian. Students, and they've tested them not in exam conditions, but if they use keyboards to give their exam answers, they get better test scores than writing the answers. Okay. Does that just not mean that they can't write and it's illegible?
Well, I think there are 2 things going on here. I think that university professors and teachers, not exclusively, but often want to be researching their subject, and the teaching is something that they have to do to earn their money. So it's not their top priority to teach, and they certainly don't want to spend their time trying to read people's illegible handwriting. So I think part of this is the fact that they possibly mark a little easier when the job is made easier for them.
Interesting.
But for me, the other side of that coin is, you know, where have we gone with our old school, literally, sort of talents, you know, learning grammar, learning how to write, learning how to use a pen. The number of emails I get sent that have absolutely no punctuation.
None.
And only yesterday
I
had...
No capital letters.
Gen Z don't use punctuation, do they? All capitals.
No. I almost made a huge mistake in misinterpreting what somebody had sent me because they hadn't put a comma in, and it made a complete difference to the meaning of the sentence.
When I think, when I was in secondary school, grammar, oh my goodness, grammar was pounded in and spelling was pounded in.
But it matters. It's our language. It does matter. Culture.
Doesn't matter what Keir Starmer thinks about Lucy Connolly, Eamonn, and what's happening there. How do you read that situation? She, we believe, will be released today.
Today, indeed. I think, look, Lucy Connolly is, I think, one of our most biggest political prisoners. We have had this in this country for a very long time. And I think 31 months given to her for that deleted tweet when we've seen lack of justice, well, 2-tier justice being handed out to far worse offenders over the last 2 years.
But Eamonn, it's dividing people. Fiona says, I've got no sympathy. She had thousands of followers. Her words mattered. She poured petrol on the fire after children were killed.
Well,
deleting it later doesn't change that. And Martin says, sorry, but urging people to torch hotels is incitement to violence. You can't just say oops and expect a free pass. Starmer is right on this one.
Well, Starmer isn't actually right on this one, because Starmer doesn't agree with any of those viewers this morning, because in 2013, as Director of Public Prosecutions, he issued guidance as Director of Public Prosecutions that said, look, we should be quite more lenient on such cases where a tweet or a Facebook post had been deleted swiftly and remorse has been shown.
OK.
So he was saying that in 2013, and now he's saying, well, we should be locking people up.
When you're lying in bed tonight, Alison, what do millions of Brits do in bed?
Well,
I must admit,
really,
I don't do this. I don't do this. Right, tell us.
Well, I have to say, I didn't know that people did sleep with their eyes open, but I suspect if they do, it's related to the use of technology and the fact that a lot of it is left in the bedroom.
I could never imagine it. Could you imagine doing it?
Psychopaths. No, it's creepy. Imagine.
Yeah.
Sleeping with both eyes open like this.
I recommend an eye mask.
And you'd have to wear an eye mask.
Well, my question is, how did they actually carry out the research?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic point,
Folks,
Eamonn.
thank you very much indeed. We look forward to having you back after 8:30 this morning.
Now, thousands of students are anxiously awaiting to receive their GCSE results. We're going to be live at a school throughout the morning. Here's the weather.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, there's some grey skies and some blue skies. The wind's generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the south east. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and South West England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear, and with light winds, might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times of fair bit of cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day. And temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Today, motorists on the M4 eastbound near junction 42 at Earlswood should expect delays due to roadworks, with the on-slip closed and diversions in place. In Stockton-on-Tees, drivers on the A66 eastbound are cautioned about debris between junctions with the A1150 and A1027, where one lane is closed. Meanwhile, between junctions 20 and 19, the westbound M62 is disrupted by a broken-down vehicle, restricting available lanes. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Caledonian sleeper services face major disruptions in the Wigan North Western area. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
There's just 2 weeks left to see how you could win your mortgage or rent paid for a whole year. That's a cash lump sum equivalent to 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, right up to a whopping £20,000. Plus, we'll add an extra £5,000 on top for good measure. Make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun. No, he didn't say that, though. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Hello there, very good morning. Keir Starmer once said swiftly deleted social media posts should not always lead to prosecution.
But now, as Prime Minister, he backed the jailing of Lucy Connolly for a post that she deleted within hours.
With Lucy Connolly possibly walking free today after being sentenced to 31 months, is this evidence of two-tier justice?
Nervous students are about to receive their GCSE results. Thousands across the country are now ripping open those all-important envelopes, all eyes on whether the gap between girls and boys will grow even wider.
A big day for our Year 11s today as they receive those all-important GCSE results. We're here at a high school in Warrington. We're speaking to the head teacher and some students throughout the morning. Stay tuned.
After Epping Council's legal win, 19 councils are now weighing up court action to stop asylum seekers from being housed in local hotels. We're asking, could this be the start of a nationwide revolt? Well, earlier, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp defended his party's record when they were in power.
We took, in government, pretty decisive action. We halved the number of hotels in our last 9 months. Our last full year in office, 2023, we got the boat numbers down by 30%.
And later this morning, the Home Office will release the latest immigration figures as pressure mounts on the government to get a grip on these record arrivals.
We're here in the town of Middlesbrough, a town that's seen its fair share of immigration over the years. We'll be speaking to a councillor and locals about the impact that it's had on the area.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. Talk like you.
From pygmy hippos to rockhopper penguins, it's weigh-in week at the zoo. We'll be live as the annual checkup gets underway and keepers find out who's been piling on the pounds and who is fighting fit.
Arsenal have dramatically hijacked Tottenham's £68 million deal for Crystal Palace's England international Eberie Eze. The playmaker's decision to join his boyhood club has left Spurs chairman Daniel Levy facing stinging criticism from his own fans.
It's a little cooler out there for many of us this morning. Generally a dry day, though, with some sunshine and some cloud. And that mixture likely to stick with us into tomorrow as well. Join me later for a full forecast.
Hello there on this Thursday morning. Thank you very much indeed for joining our programme. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. We've been talking about Karen Brady. She's on the front page of the Daily Telegraph today. I think we've got the pictures for you. It's been described as an astonishing glow-up. I can show you on the front page of the Daily Telegraph. We haven't got those to go to. This is the same lady, but she looks incredible, doesn't she? We don't know what she's had done, but she looks amazing. So we thought we'd share some of our team pictures and look at our glow-ups over the years. Oh, wow. So that is me when I first joined this channel. So that's 4 years ago, 2021. Well done, Aidan. And there's now. So
shows you what those early mornings do to you.
The makeup has improved, we'll say that much. We have a makeup department now at GB News, so I'm very grateful to them, who can actually style my hair and give me decent makeup. That is actually so embarrassing. Yeah, so very pleased with that. Thank you, makeup department. Aidan, should we have a look at yours?
Yeah, why not?
Aidan's is coming up now. Aidan, wow. What year was this?
That was in...
Well, this year in primary school, was it?
No, this was 2004. So approaching my peak, which lasted about 3 weeks. And if you look at the patch on the left-hand side, I bought that jacket in Stockholm and I was so proud of it.
Is that a sweat patch?
No, it's not. This is, well, you just stolen my joke. So what used to happen, it's actually part of the design. It's on both sides of the jacket. But people used to come up to me and say, "Oi, mate, you spilt your pint." And I hadn't spilt my pint. It was part of the design. I was trying to be cool. But, yeah, that was a great period for me, that. It didn't get any better.
Is that a perm?
No, it's not a perm, no. It's just a bit of gel. 59p from Tesco's.
Oh, well, you remember, do you?
I do, yeah, of course I do.
Looks very voluminous.
Thank you.
Eamonn, your time? There he is.
Yes.
What year would that have been?
I would say that was about 25 years ago, I would have thought.
Late 90s?
Oh, look, he hasn't changed a dot.
Where's that? What camera's that?
Camera 3 over here. There you are.
A bit.
Do the same pose, go.
Yeah. Hair is everything.
Do the same pose.
Huh?
Match your pose.
Match the pose.
Yeah.
Could I match that pose? Couldn't match that pose.
Oh, very good.
Anyway.
Yeah, the hair's the same. You kept your hair. Very good. Full head of hair. Always had a full head of hair. Anyway.
OK. Thank you very much indeed, and I hope we have your company between now and 9:30 this morning. Main news today, Keir Starmer's facing fresh accusations of hypocrisy over the jailing of Lucy Connolly. Now, she's expected to be released later today after serving just 9 months of a, 30-odd-month...
31-month prison
sentence.
Well, Connolly urged her followers on X to set fire to asylum hotels. She was sentenced to more than 2.5 years in prison, and that's despite deleting the post just hours after she posted it and saying that she regretted it.
Now, critics say Keir Starmer's stance clashes with his own guidance from 2013. He was Director of Public Prosecutions then, and he suggested people who swiftly deleted offensive posts and showed remorse should not necessarily face prosecution. Let's get the opinions now of former Conservative advisor James Price on this one. Well, they should not serve sentencing or prosecution or incarceration, but Lucy Connolly did.
Yeah, first of all, I'm glad you haven't got a before and after picture of me. Without the beard, I look a bit like
There's still time.
I can find one. I look a bit like Kim Jong-un without the beard. So, on the substance of this, I think the first thing everybody has been very careful to do is to say that what Lucy Connolly wrote was not OK, right? It was very unpleasant and all the rest of it, and that people should either feel a level of some social shaming from that sort of stuff. But in someone like the United States of America, it wouldn't count as anything illegal because you have to have sort of direct, you have to go to this place and then we will attack them or we will set fire to this particular hotel. You know, you have to have details in the speech for it to count as an incitement to violence. Whereas this was clearly someone who I think was letting off steam. There was a crucial thing in what she said of ending a sentence with "for all I care," and then she realised the error of her ways and she deleted it. So I think all of that stuff could have been litigated in the courtroom had she been given the opportunity. She wasn't. She was denied bail along with lots of other people, and and the justice system moved remarkably quickly, given how slow it moves for everybody else all the time. And so when you put all of those factors together, and then you compare it to some other high-profile cases that have happened recently, for example, Ricky Jones, a Labour Party councillor who was caught going like this at a protest and talking about slitting people's throats. He was given a year's time. He was given bail. He managed to get a fancy King's Counsel silk to defend him, and he was then found not guilty. And so although these are slightly different cases, you can see why people have this kind of anger about the two-tier justice system going on. And lawyers may say, well, these are different cases here and there, but they miss the wood for the trees of the kind of general level of injustice that someone does something, a young mum, denied bail, a much longer prison sentence than lots of people have done for violent offences, versus some of these other cases. I think that kind of sense across the whole of the justice system is why people are so angry about this.
I wonder what will happen to Lucy next. You know, she comes out. I wonder, is there a public profile for her after this, or does she just slip back into the background?
It's a good question, isn't it? It's probably too late for her to get onto Strictly Come Dancing this year. I'm not quite sure she's there yet. But if I were her, I'd probably just want a quiet life after going through all of this. You know, how many of us have got Facebook accounts and things like that where you write something silly and you know no one notices it and you can kind of get away scot-free? Or maybe she does try and take this and realise that the most important thing that we have in life is our liberty, and she's had hers taken away, and maybe she wants to fight for that.
It's quite interesting, the US interest in her case. I mean, J.D. Vance has spoken about it before, hasn't he? I mean, and Charlie Kirk, I think, speaking to GB News, has spoken about the Lucy Connolly case as well. Do you think there is a potential that if she chose to go public with this, she could potentially be invited to the White House?
Gosh, that would be quite a story, wouldn't it, if it happened? America takes free speech, I think, even more seriously, probably, than we do. They have it written specifically into their Bill of Rights and the First Amendment to the Constitution. And as I said just now, there are all kinds of stricter ways that you can get away with saying a lot more. For this to be a crime in America, as I say, you'd have to have specific intentions and planning and things like that in there. Starmer has this weird line where he keeps saying, we've had free speech in this country for a very long time. You could probably add a coda to that of, well, until quite recently. I've just come back from a week and a half in America, and people keep asking, what's going on there? Are you not getting arrested all the time for saying things? And this is, although that's probably a bit much for now, that is the kind of soft power reputation that Britain has. We're seen as a country where the kind of horrible rape gangs have been happening to children, where you get arrested for saying mean things online, and that you've got no free speech, and we've been letting in huge numbers of illegal migrants. That is not the kind of soft power that we want to be portraying when we have so much to offer the world, but that's where we are right now.
Well, James, you may get arrested for this image. Don't know if the police have this or not, but this is you. We were talking about people in your years.
Oh, no.
I still would have loved to have seen you without the beard, but there you go. You're without the glasses. There you are, just to see him.
That is much less bad than it might have been, thank goodness.
We'll have to dig a bit deeper into the archives.
Look, when I started in Westminster, I was a young girl with a dream, and you can see what it's done to me.
Very good, my friend, very good. Thank you very much
James.
indeed.
Very good.
Thank you. We're now going to talk about exam results. Students right across the whole country are going to be nervously waking up to all of this. And a reporter out there was saying, this is a massive thing for Year 11 pupils.
Yeah.
How is it Year 11? How do you get that out? How do you work that? You do 7 years in primary school, and then you do 6 years before you do these exams.
5 years.
No,
Year 7, Year 8, Year 9, Year 10, Year 11. Yeah,
no,
5 years in secondary school.
You leave primary school at 11. You've done 7 years of primary school, right? Then you go into senior school.
Yeah.
Junior 1, Junior 2, Junior 3. And then I had Senior 1 and Senior 2.
Right, so in Senior 2, 5 years.
5 years.
Yes, that's the equivalent.
So that would be
Year 11.
12. It's not.
It is.
7 on this side, 5 on...
6. You finish in Year 6 in primary school.
Why do you get out early?
I don't know.
Because the first year is called reception,
Yes,
not Year
James.
1. So the first year is called reception. The second year is called Year 1, to throw you.
What I knew as primary 1 is now reception.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right, so that's 1 year off. That's 13 down to 12. And down to 11, how do we get down to there? Because when you go to secondary school, they don't count the years there either. Is that
Well,
right?
they do, yeah. You start in Year 7, and they do 5 years, then you take your GCSEs in Year 11. We've been very English here, sorry.
No, what are you talking about? I'm trying to work this out. I'm trying to explain this is not the situation in Northern Ireland, and may not be the situation in Scotland. But anyway, Sophie Reaper will tell us more. Sophie.
They definitely are in Year 11, aren't they, Sophie? And they should have got the results about 12 minutes ago.
No, they're not in Year 11. She says they...
Indeed.
No, they are in Year 11.
You've got me doing sums here. I'm going back to my maths GCSE, trying to work out what year it was. No, it is Year 11s. So to talk about that, I'm joined now by the head teacher of St Gregory's here in Warrington, Ed McGlinchey. Ed, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know you can't go into specifics about any specific pupils or anything like that, because they haven't, at this school, they're not getting their results actually for another half an hour or so, are they? So none of the pupils here actually know their results yet, so you can't give you any specifics, but just in general terms, how have the students here done this year? Are you impressed?
Very much so. Came in yesterday to collect the results and to work them all out and things like that, and we were really pleased to see that the pupils have done phenomenally well. I'm looking forward to seeing them open their envelopes actually very soon, and being able to share with them how well they've done, and the staff too. We're particularly impressed this year because of course this is the year group that were unable to complete their SATs back in 2020 at primary school. Not being able to do that has had them on the back foot for 5 years really.
Just to say, that was because of the pandemic, wasn't it, that they couldn't do their SATs? So this is the first time they'll have sat any real examinations under those conditions where it really counted. So a lot of pressure on them, I'd imagine.
Yeah, huge. Normally they would have the experience at 11 years old of sitting exams that are public exams that are where they receive results and things like that that determine their next stage. They were unable to do that. They were unable to finish primary school normally, like other year groups have. And then they've entered the unknown really when they go to high school, because they're not fully clear exactly where their starting point is at. However, they have worked unbelievably hard all year. The staff here have taken the challenge of not knowing necessarily exactly the ability ranges of all the pupils, but then determining that and then setting them on a really positive pathway where they've been able to achieve some really good results today, which is all about helping them get onto this next stage of going on to college and apprenticeships now.
You mentioned college and apprenticeships. Of course, those results were last week, and some people might argue that that's far more important, but just for our Year 11s, how important are these results, and how much will it mean to them to do well?
Yeah, the GCSEs are extremely important because they give pupils choices going forward. There's a wide range of qualifications that they get. Some pupils set up to 10 qualifications, and it means that they have a range of choices and options going forward into A-level or into apprenticeships, and it means that even if they decide to change at a later date, they've got this bank of qualifications that allow them to do other things going forward. It also is a good indication of their resilience, that despite all of the challenges that they had, and still to come together like this and still to achieve these results, it says a lot as well for employers going forward, that it's not just about getting the piece of paper, it's about the resilience to take on challenges, to overcome adversity, and just to work really hard with schools to achieve what they're capable of.
Ed, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It sounds like there's going to be some smiling faces here at St Gregory's in Warrington. In the next half an hour or so, we'll be bringing you the latest in the next hour.
Ed's a cool teacher, isn't he? Imagine a head teacher in a pink T-shirt. Wouldn't have happened in my day, but very good. Well done, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much
Sophie.
Indeed. Thank you, Sophie. Do you remember how nervous you were in this particular
A nervous
day?
wreck.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have slept a wink.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, we wouldn't have got things electronically and whatever. You would have literally had to turn up at the school, or else you would have got your envelope 3 hours later, so with the postman. So you got to go down, you queue up at the school, and if it's good, it's good.
I think that's better, though. Because then if it's good, you're with your friend, you can celebrate. And then if it's bad, support is right there, teachers there.
It's bad, everybody's laughing at you.
That's true.
That's the way it goes.
But the support's there for them.
But that's a big thing. I mean, I certainly wasn't ready for the real world, for the big world at 16. And to be, if you didn't get your qualifications then, where were you going to go? What were you going to do next? I mean, that would have been a terrible, terrible decision. The easy option was to be okay and come back for senior school and A-levels. I mean, that was great.
That was the next step, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, best of luck if you are picking up results. They were released in most schools at 8 a.m, so you would have already known how you've done by now. So I hope you did very well. Yep. And if you're on way to collect them now, I hope it's nice and sunny for you en route. Alex Deacon's got all the details.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, there's some grey skies and some blue skies. The wind's generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the southeast. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and southwest England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear and with light winds. Might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times of fair bit of cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day. And temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
So much response coming in as regards Lucy Connolly and her release today. Sorry, but urging people to torch hotels is incitement to violence. You just can't say oops and expect a free pass. Starmer is right on this.
Mandy says the tweet was wrong, but Starmer's smug defence of her conviction is worse. He's forgotten his own words. How can anyone trust him?
OK. I've got no sympathy, says Fiona. She had thousands of followers. Her words mattered. She poured petrol on the fire after those children in Southport were killed. Deleting it later does not change that.
And Sarah says what she wrote was vile, no excuses for it. But locking her up for longer than some of the violent thugs, that feels like pure politics, not justice.
Thanks very much indeed for telling us how you think on that. I hope we have reflected all of that. The Great British Giveaway right now. You could be well in the money. Have a go.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 29th of August. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
And still to come this morning.
It's weigh-in day at the zoo. From giraffes to meerkats, every animal is hopping on the scales. But who's been sneaking extra snacks? We're going to find out. But first, we're going to look at the numbers and the pressure on public services and the communities that are feeling the strain on migration. Is your town one of them?
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain's newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
Parents whose children have come back to school in September and been told by the head teacher, your form tutor is no longer Miss Smith or whatever, you must call them Mooks. What are children supposed to do in this circumstance?
Well, it's very confusing for them, because the person that they're supposed to trust and believe for every minute of the day that they're in the classroom is now implying that she's no longer a woman. And so what sounds like something trivial, you know, a title, is actually a very serious problem, because children, this is one more way that children are being taught in schools that instead of the basic reality of everyone being either male or female, that there's some mystery about it. And we know that this is harmful and confusing to them. So really, I think the guidance that's been awaited from the Department for Education is urgently needed, because what are schools supposed to do, you know, when they have a teacher making these demands? Are they supposed to accommodate the teacher?
That's my point. This Education Secretary was quite rightly talking about white kids falling behind in schools, which has been a traditional problem for many years, just this week. And now she goes off at a complete tangent on an obscure, I hate to use the word, woke issue.
Well, I think she may have been caught on the hoof. I can't speak for her, but, you know, what she really needs to do is think through all the aspects of gender people's demands, these special demands, and think, what are the implications? What are they saying to children? And they need to come right back to the primary focus of education, and then, you know, they'll see there is no room for this sort of nonsense.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
Kemi Badenoch has called for more Conservative councils to launch legal challenges over asylum hotels the way they have done in Epping, and this will prove to be a big problem for the government if these are successful. But then there were certain conditions to the Epping ruling, of course.
While the government also faces a potential revolt from its own local authorities, Labour Council is also looking at the possibility of legal action too.
Well, on that story later this morning, the Home Office will release the latest immigration figures. Pressure will mount on the government, as we were saying there, to get a grip on record arrivals. Let's go to Anna Riley this morning. She joins us from Middlesbrough. Anna, good morning to you. And you're going to sort of put some flesh on the bones of this story. Off you go.
Good morning, Eamonn and Ellie. Yes, we're here in Middlesbrough. It's a town in the northeast that's seen its fair share of immigration over the years. At one point, it actually exceeded the ratio of 200 to 1 immigrants in the town to people that live there and locals. And of course, this does have an impact on the amenities in the town, the burden on the NHS, the stresses as such of that. Middlesbrough town being picked for people immigrating here, whether that's legal or illegal immigration, because of its cheaper house prices, so it's cheaper to house people here. And as well for people that are coming over internationally to study, it's close to Teesside University and Durham University as well. Well, to speak more about this, I'm joined now by Niall Innes. He's the Deputy Leader for the Conservative group at Stockton-on-Tees Council. Niall, thanks for joining us this morning. Just give us a little bit of a picture about Middlesbrough and the surrounding area and the impact that immigration has had.
immigration's had a huge impact on Middlesbrough and surrounding Stockton, especially in recent years. I mean, both Middlesbrough and Stockton Labour-led councils have signed up to be dispersal authorities. So what that means is, and you rightly said it too, it's not just that we've taken a number of individuals, asylum seekers who need support, we've taken more than our fair share. And that's detrimentally impacted so many different things, whether that's GP appointments. You see crazy facts like 7 million in recent years, 7 million GP appointments and GP sign-ups have been through those who have come to Britain through immigration, whether that's illegally or not. So they're crazy facts, so they're having a huge impact on infrastructure, on our towns, on our cities, right up and down the country. And as I say, those dispersal authorities that have been signed up, where councils are taking more than their fair share, people are rightly concerned that their towns, like Middlesbrough and Stockton, are changing away from the towns that they remember, in which we have societies in which people won't walk down streets now. People are too worried to go down streets because they are single culture streets, even single family streets. Integration is simply not something that has been factored into this, and that's the responsibility of local authorities who have not planned but just simply opened the door and welcomed endless amounts of people into our towns.
And we saw that unrest in Middlesbrough in particular last August, people taking to the streets to protest about immigration, also in nearby Hartlepool and Sunderland as well.
Absolutely. I think that people are raising their voice. People are concerned. What we don't want to see is violence and intimidation. That's not what we want to see. But we are seeing people rightly want to have their voice heard. They're sick and tired of hearing empty words and phrases, empty rhetoric. They want action because they want their children and future generations to grow up in streets that are safe. They want them to grow up in towns that are recognisable. Unfortunately, Britain has become a country where we are a doormat, really, where we're not stopping the boats, we're welcoming them with open arms, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I was struck by, during VE Day, a 104-year-old veteran said, "This is not the country I fought for," and I can completely understand that. It isn't. Britain was once a proud nation that stood up, right and wrong. Now we're simply not standing up for the British people and what matters most to them, and it's about making sure that our towns are safe, but also that our towns are not just magnets or simply allowed to be abused, because as you say, we're up north, it's slightly cheaper. Local authorities should not simply use that as a means to welcome endless amounts of people into our towns and cities when there's no integration at all.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Niall. So that's the views here from the local council. We'll be speaking to local businesses and people from the community later on this morning and into the afternoon as well.
And is there anything you noticed being there today, Anna, that is different? I mean, I say that because there are people who will say our area has changed beyond all recognition. It's obvious that there are a lot of migrants who are being placed somewhere where they wouldn't normally be. Is that obvious to you or not?
I wouldn't say obviously overly on the streets, looking at it where we are now in the centre. I mean, going out a little bit further, you can certainly see more boarded up houses that may now be being used for HMOs. You can certainly notice maybe price differences as well compared to the south and the north as well. But I wouldn't say I could see noticeably on the street now this morning, but maybe further into the communities, certainly.
Well, it was interesting to hear the councillor's story, so thank him for that, and great seeing you, Anna. Thank you very much indeed, live from Middlesbrough, and we'll talk to you and see you throughout the rest of the day.
Now, if you're travelling to work this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M90 faces restrictions northbound between junction 6 and 7 due to a pedestrian on the carriageway. Drivers should exercise caution. Meanwhile, on the M4 eastbound at Earlswood, roadworks have closed the on-slip with diversions in place to manage flow. In Stockton-on-Tees, debris on the A66 eastbound between junctions with the A1150 and A1027 has led to one-lane closure. Normal traffic conditions are anticipated to resume by 9:15 this morning. And on the trains, both Avanti West Coast and Caledonian Sleeper report major disruptions in the Wigan northwestern area. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Now, still to come, as you know, I love my picnics.
Yes.
Come rain, wind or shine. Just how far would you go to save your picnic plans? I'd picnic in the car in the rain, would you?
Well, I wouldn't picnic there, wherever that industrial estate is or whatever, but, you know, I get the idea. It's raining. It may well put me off. I don't know if it'll put Alison Cork and Eamonn Bogle off, but they'll be brightening up your day with their take on what is in the papers. Back with them right after this.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world. Am I allowed to talk then? No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
There's my mate, there's Dougie there. And Ellie, you weren't here on Tuesday.
I'm very confused as to what's going on. Why is Dougie Beattie on a bowl?
Dougie's reported, well, he's not on it for very long, as you can see there. He's out in Benidorm and just reflecting what a lot of people from around the UK are doing. They're going to Benidorm, they're having a very good time, and they're riding the mechanical bull, which is what... Have you never ridden a mechanical bull?
No.
Not really?
I'm so confused. Why?
Because that's entertainment. I mean, if we can just line him up again and we can see him there. But when Dougie's out there, so I phoned him up and I said to him, where are you going? What are you doing? Whatever. He says, I'm going to ride. See, Dougie's a farmer as well.
Oh, right? So he'd be quite good.
He's got, because
he's got cows, hasn't he? Because you're named after one.
He's got two cows. He's got Isabel and Eamonn, right?
Hopefully mine's still coming.
Right.
Another cow.
So then he's tried to do this. Can we see this again? Right, let's see. Give us a second. OK, here we go on this. There he is. There's Doogie on the bull.
He's not doing this on his farm, though.
Well, you don't know. This could be happening in Northern Ireland, for all we know. When he's not on air for GB News, he could be riding a bull. He's not bad, you know. He's not bad
at all. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. As for the shorts, though, I'm not sure.
I didn't recognise him in his shorts.
The shorts and the legs are the same colour as his T-shirt. Come on, Doogie! Come on!
Hold on! I mean, good effort, Doogie. Good effort.
Well done, my friend. Well done.
I
Very
can't
good.
believe we've sent him there. This is work for Doogie. It's him working.
That's great work. Now, in the studio, we have got Alison Cork. Alison, how would you describe yourself?
An entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur.
Through and through.
That is what she is, through and through. And then we've got Eamonn Bogle, who is the best-dressed man I know. That's just basically how I would describe him. Political commentator. Thank you, my friend. Right, Eamonn, where do you want to start this morning?
I think it's this absurd story from the editor-in-chief of The Observer.
James Harding.
James Harding.
Yeah.
That the BBC apparently needs protection from Nigel Farage. I think Britain needs protection from the BBC with the output that we've been seeing from it for so many years now. It's, long gone are those days, Eamonn, when my grandfather used to tell me that he used to tune in on the shortwave radio to listen into the BBC World Service, as a source of authority and dependability and trustworthiness. Those days are far gone. I think it's about time the BBC was defunded. It played fair in the free market and let people, the viewers, the British people, make up their minds whether they want to listen, watch and agree with what the BBC has to say. But if you dial it down a bit further, Eamonn, I would also say that if Nigel Farage does enter government as Prime Minister, surely that would be the will of the British people.
Yes.
And does the British broadcaster...
That's always ignored, though. It's like the government knows better, the BBC knows better, everybody in authority knows better than you. You want the death penalty. Oh, no, you're not having that. Whatever it is people want is always deemed to be wrong.
This is far more a reflection of the fear of the BBC of somebody coming in and challenging them. And the cheek of talking about political independence, to that I would say, we wish you were politically independent. Clearly not. And...
Alison, let's stay with you, shall we?
No, hold on. I want to say something.
All right. Eamonn wants to say something.
Here's what irritates me most of all with news and radio stations and whatever. So they'll suddenly go, let's go to our reporter, Eamonn Bogle. Eamonn is there at the scene. Eamonn, what's happening? Right? And they tell everybody Eamonn does what he does there. And then they come back and they say, Eamonn Bogle there. Eamonn Bogle, our political commentator.
Oh, that does wind you up, yes.
Eamonn, thank you very much. Do they think we're stupid? Why are they telling me Eamonn's name 10 times and what Eamonn's doing and where he is? In case you didn't know, Eamonn Bogle in Middlesbrough there. Eamonn Bogle, who is the political... Have you not noticed that?
Yes.
And you think, shut up.
I just think it's space filling. We're just trying to...
No, but it's not. Everybody does it. They've obviously been trained to do it and obviously told to do it. But there you are.
I think, Eamonn, you missed a trick. I think you should have set up a Eamonn Home School for Journalism a long time ago.
That'll be the day. Right, Alison, what are you going to go with?
Can we talk about this smacking ban again?
Absolutely.
It's got viewers going this morning because there's this new poll, isn't there? 8 in 10 adults think that the punishment is unacceptable. That's changed very quickly, isn't it?
I'm surprised at that. And so I personally did very occasionally smack my children. My husband didn't. But, I'm thinking about the joint responsibility of parents and schools to work together to make children understand what are acceptable parameters, because I do think that children do need to be told where the parameters are. I'm a big fan of the Michaela school of education.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is super strict, but look at their results. They speak for themselves. Those are well-mannered, well-behaved kids who probably don't need to be smacked. So I think that
I don't know really. Maybe deep down, maybe I would have thought like you at some stage, but now I just can't. And I grew up in a 60s Belfast where, believe me, in the community that I lived, violence was second nature. Second nature, you sorted everything. And if you're violent to children, you'll then be violent to your wife. as well. And if you're violent to your wife, you'll be violent to your neighbour next door. Violence will be seen as a way of sorting out problems, of getting things right. Now, you'll live in a different community now and different people surrounding you, but I think if you live in an area where there is a community and people are close together, I think violence spreads like fire.
But I think there is a difference between violence, which in itself, describes the level of aggression.
That's violence. If you strike a kid, that's violence.
Well, it depends. I mean, when you say strike a kid, when you use that word strike, that to me sounds, sort of hard and fast.
Right. Well, where would you hit
I
your
think
kids?
Just it can be a firm hand on an arm. It can be a restraint. It's like stop. Let's just stop and let's just talk about this. Or it can be a little. And if you smack,
it'll be on their bottom.
Something like that. Yes, of course. You don't whack them across the face or anything like that. But I do think that kids, they can't be expected to form their own parameters. That's my feeling, in the way that, I did sleep train my kids when they were babies, and I felt it was the right way to go. And I think you mentioned earlier that...
Yeah, we did it with our youngest. What's her name? Who's the nurse that did that? What was her name?
Gina Ford, the contented little baby.
Gina Ford
Well, I was of that era.
Yeah, but the baby goes to bed always at the same time, gets up at the same time, fed at the same time, whatever it is.
OK, she was demonised later.
Yes.
But I have to say, at the time, she gave me my sanity as a new mum, and that particular child did sleep through the night very early on, and it kind of worked, because the theory is that child knows what to expect, therefore there's no need to cry, because they know you're going to meet their needs of feeding them, bathing them, cuddling them, and letting them
They know what's coming next.
They know what's coming next.
Yeah.
Eamonn, what do you think?
Look, I think discipline and routine are the most important thing in a child's life growing up. But having said that, I'm very much Gandhian in this nature. I think in terms of my belief in non-violence, I think violence is not the way. If you've got to the position that you feel that you need to strike or smack a child to bring in discipline, you've already lost the battle of good parenting. But look, the Nordics banned smacking in the 70s. Yeah. There are 70 countries around the world where it is banned, but I think it just should be common sense for parents.
OK. Yeah. Eamonn, we'll leave it there, and if we don't, I'll smack you. But I'll tell you what we're doing.
No, I'm so excited.
We are going to the zoo next, right? So this is Whipsnade Zoo. I've never been to Whipsnade Zoo, but they have got this weigh-in, and they're going to animals like that, whatever that gorgeous-looking thing is.
We don't know what that is, but we're going to work it out.
Yeah, we're going to... I don't know what we've got now. You think we've got a hippo?
I've heard on the grapevine it's a pygmy hippo that we're waiting to see being weighed, and I personally can't wait. So we don't want to miss that. So we're going to go to the European weather, and we'll be straight back with the pygmy hippos.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean All Clear Skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Hot and sunny conditions continue across much of Spain and Portugal. A few heavy showers likely in Croatia. A fairly brisk wind blowing in Sardinia, quite breezy too in southern parts of Portugal. But most of Spain and Portugal dry, fine and sunny. Just a small chance of a shower in Ibiza. Much greater chance of seeing some heavy showers across Croatia. Fine and sunny for most of the Greek islands and Turkey. That will continue through the weekend as well. Goodbye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
Welcome back. It's 4:48. You're going to love this next story with me, Martin Daubney, here on GB News. Now, it's been reported that Birmingham City Council is removing Union Jacks and English flags across the St George from their streets. Now, they say the unauthorised attachments on lampposts across the city risks the safety of pedestrians and motorists. Well, does it? Let's find out now, because I'm joined by the Conservative Councillor for Frankly Great Park, that is Simon Morrill. Simon, they're saying this is a matter of road safety. One of these flags might spontaneously fall down and blind a motorist and cause an accident.
But it's interesting, Martin, because there's a bit of a backstory to this, because this was going on for quite a while in Northfield. It was only when the flags came to Frankly, when I, as the elected councillor, just put a one-line sentence out saying, I approve this message, that the left-wing media in Birmingham decided to do a story on it, as if to try and say, why is a councillor backing it? One of those media organisations found a WhatsApp group that Labour councillors were members of. One of them was the cabinet member for community safety. And apparently, according to this journal, one member was claiming this to be, I quote, far-right astroturfing. And before my time in politics, before I got into politics, Martin, I used to work in media, and I can spot a good story. That's, in fact, you could say that's part of a job of being a politician, is to call stuff out like that. So I put that on my Facebook page, saying that they were basically calling us racist. You know, you say tomato, I say tomato. Far right basically means racist. And it absolutely blew up. The absolute outrage across the community, and quite rightly, actually, because I don't think the Union flag is in any way far right.
GB News.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. Talk like you.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're heading to the zoo. The big annual weigh-in at the zoo starts today. In fact, it's all week, isn't it? At Whipsnade Zoo.
You wouldn't want to weigh in that bear. I'd weigh Jack Carson. Jack Carson's there for us today at Whipsnade.
I love your hat, Jack.
Thank you very much. Well, you might have to wait a little teeny bit longer for the sight of a pygmy hippo. We're just finishing off the preparations here. Of course, this weigh-in is really vital to the conservation of the 11,000 animals that they've got here. I think actually I can hear we're trying to lure the hippo down with a bucket of food. But we're joined by Sarah Forsyth, who's a creator of mammals here. Just kind of give us a sense of why today and this weigh-in is so important for the zoo.
Well, it's one of the many ways we look after the animals at the zoo. Weighing them, understanding their weights, changes in their weights, gives us a really good idea of how healthy they are. Maybe they're pregnant, gives us an idea of how far along they might be. It's also essential for things like medical treatment. So if we need to give them medication, if we know how much they weigh, we know how much of the medication to give them. So, yeah, hugely essential for our everyday care.
And tell us about the pygmy hippo that we're waiting to see. What are they? Because not many people, people think of a hippo as a huge, great big beast, but these are a bit smaller. Tell us about the pygmy hippo.
Yeah, pygmy hippos are much, much smaller than the common hippo. The one we're going to be measuring today is called Tapon, so he's our male pygmy hippo here at Whipsnade.
I can see him slightly as well. I can see him. He's coming.
Yeah, hugely, much smaller than the common hippo, but just as feisty.
Oh, amazing. So how old is he, and how long has he been here at the zoo?
So Tapon's been with us a really long time, and he's actually been a father numerous times over the years as well. So he's a successful breeding animal, which is great because they are an endangered species, so they're one of our really important breeding programmes. We are looking to bring a female in for him at some point in the future as well, so he's got more to offer to his species as well longer term.
And I suppose, you've got to make sure that you manage him to be as healthy as possible ultimately, because I guess things like Ozempic aren't available for hippos, so you've got to really manage their diet.
Yeah, and of course you can imagine, these are still wild animals, so we've got to come up with very clever ways of monitoring their weight and their health and their body's condition, so we know whether we should reduce their diet, increase their diet, or we need to intervene in some way with medical treatment. So there's lots of different ways, whether it's food, their favourite item to get them to a place where we need to, or even if we put a board hidden somewhere in their enclosure which they walk on on every day that has a set of scales underneath. So yeah, it's really important. And we don't just do it once a year, we do it as often as possible.
And it really giving us a show now. Absolutely beautiful. Just kind of tell us, how do they deal with this kind of climate? Because we've had quite a hot summer at the same time as well. So how do you kind of keep them, safe and well, in the different climate that we've got here in the UK to maybe what they'd be used to in their natural environment?
Well, because we know a lot about their activities in the wild, we create their habitats in the zoo to replicate that as much as possible. And where we can't replicate that, we come up with clever ways of making it similar so they can still adapt. So we've got an outdoor pool for him where he can keep cool. We've got an indoor heated pool if he gets a bit cold over the summer months. Obviously there's lots of shade in this paddock, lots of grass, and he's got the choice to go into the different areas whenever he wants to. So he can decide where he wants to go depending on how he's feeling on the day and what the weather's like.
And just, are they dangerous? If I was to be in the enclosure with him, would it be a little bit of a risk for me?
Yeah, definitely. Although he's small in size, he's still very, very feisty, and he's still a wild animal, so he'll behave, he'll be defensive. He doesn't want to be around people generally. He wants to be around other hippos, so we respect that. But we do also work with him and train him so that he can move to enclosure when we need him, and also things like we said, weighing and measuring him. We can train him to do those things in a safe way so we don't have to go in with him.
And I guess, this park has been very busy with families and kids. What's the reaction from families and kids been to the pigmy hippo?
Yeah, no problem at all. You have to remember, obviously, they're born in zoos, so they're used to it almost from day one. And actually, quite often we say it's, the visitors that are entertaining the animals, they're often the other way around. They like watching them, they like seeing what they're doing. And obviously, if he's decided he's had enough and he wants to get out of the way of visitors, he can go into one of the areas of his enclosure and have a time out if he wants. So yeah, it's not a problem. He's quite happy.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. She's going to be with us throughout the morning. Well, I mean, what a great way to start here at the weigh-in with the pygmy hippo. Plenty more animals to come. Stay tuned throughout the morning.
Thank you, my friend. Goodness me, look at the. We just finished looking at the hippo's bottom there. So there we go. Thank you, and thank you to Alison and Eamonn here in the studio. Thank you for you for watching and listening. We're going to be back after the weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, there's some grey skies and some blue skies. The wind's generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the southeast. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and southwest England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still a noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear and with light winds. Might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times a fair bit of cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day. And temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24.
sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M4 eastbound at junction 42, Earlswood, ongoing roadworks have resulted in the closure of the on-slip, with diversions currently in place. Meanwhile, in Suffolk, debris is causing multiple lane closures on the A47 eastbound between junctions with the A143 and the A1117, with normal conditions expected to resume after 9 this morning. Additionally, on the rail network, significant disruption is affecting services operated by Avanti West Coast and Caledonian Sleeper in the Wigan northwestern area. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
What does it feel like to be a Great British Giveaway winner?
That's a big surprise.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry.
Do you know what? I've never won anything like this in my life.
Oh my God, this is amazing.
That is absolutely fantastic.
We're over the moon.
Yes, that is fantastic.
You know, you have no idea how much I needed it. Oh my goodness.
You've won £54,321. Please don't joke. I just would change my life.
Oh, thank you so much. I was gobsmacked. Thank you, GB News.
I'd say don't hesitate, do it. If you're not in it, you've got no chance of winning it. Thank you. You weren't expecting to get that call today, were you? No, I wasn't.
You really could be our next big winner. Head over to gbnews.com/win now to find out how and get your entry for the Great British Giveaway. Great prizes, even greater wins.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. Sir Keir Starmer once said swiftly deleted social media posts shouldn't always lead to prosecution.
But now, as Prime Minister, he backed the jailing of Lucy Connolly for a post she deleted within hours.
Well, with Lucy Connolly possibly walking free today after being sentenced to 31 months in prison, is this evidence of two-tier justice?
We're following the students today, opening their GCSE results. There they are, they're going to be 16-year-olds, and there's so many thousands of them right across the whole country ripping open envelopes. All eyes on whether the gap between girls and boys, which has always existed, girls being smarter, getting better results, more dedicated, but will that gap be growing even wider?
After Epping Council's legal win, 19 councils are now weighing court action to stop asylum seekers from being housed in local hotels. Could this be the start of a nationwide revolt? Well, earlier, Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp defended his party's record when they were in power.
We took, in government, pretty decisive action. We halved the number of hotels in our last 9 months. Our last full year in office, 2023, we got the boat numbers down by 30%.
Do you agree? Let us know. The Home Office today will be releasing the latest immigration figures as pressure mounts on the government to get a grip on these record arrivals.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. Talk like you.
From pygmy hippos to rockhopper penguins, it's weigh-in week at the zoo. We'll be live at the annual checkup as it gets underway, and keepers find out who's been piling on the pounds and who's fighting fit.
Well, the weigh-in starts here at Whipsnade Zoo with this pygmy hippo having a bit of breakfast this morning. Plenty more animals to come, including penguins and camels. Stay with us here at Whipsnade.
It's a little cooler out there for many of us this morning. Generally a dry day, though, with some sunshine and some cloud. And that mixture likely to stick with us into tomorrow as well. Join me later for a full forecast.
But join us right now. We're with you till 9:30. A very good morning to you. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Well, what a big day, what a nervous day, what a day if you're waiting for your weigh-in at Whipsnade Zoo. Whipsnade, I've never been, but I know when I go up or down the M1, there's always a sign for it. So it's in Bedfordshire.
It's in Bedfordshire, yes.
And this is a big audit that they're doing. Imagine if they did that to TV presenters.
I was just thinking, how awful would that be?
You'd be
if
in
they
trouble.
brought in a set of scales and made you stand on it once a year. Awful, to see if you've gained weight in the last year or so. But that's what's happening to these poor animals, and they don't know it. They're just munching away on their breakfast.
You wouldn't be having breakfast
No, you'd
today.
be thinking, no, I'll pass it today.
And then, of course, the whole GCSE situation, or O-levels as they were in my day. Of course, I can still remember that day. I can still remember the nervousness and having to go to the school, because in those days there was no texting and
or apps
mobile phones and apps, or, you know, whatever those pads are called, or anything like
Tablets,
that. So you had to go in person. And, you know, I think a lot of people know. I mean, we concentrate on who does well. I mean, but the people who do badly, it's difficult. It's very, very difficult. Some of them will know they're going to do badly right from the start, and maybe they have their future mapped out. Some of them will unexpectedly do badly, and that's a big shock to them as to what happens next. But, you know, I know people, believe me, I know people who had to repeat a year at school because of this. And I tell you, they are, all of them, without exception, in the most incredible positions in life. And I wouldn't even mention, because you could identify who they are with it. But amazing that friends and colleagues that I went to school with and where they ended up. I met a school pal this week. He came to London. He came over from Belfast. A guy who I've known, and I just worked out, you know, for 50-odd years.
Oh, wow.
Since we were teenagers.
Oh, and you're still friends now. That's nice.
We just laughed and laughed and laughed. Because one day you will laugh. Whatever happens today, you will laugh at whatever's happening.
And there are always options, aren't there? It may feel like the end of the world potentially for you today, but it's not. And there are bigger and brighter things coming. It's not where you are, it's where you're going. And that's what matters. And there are always options, and there's always support. So best of luck to you if you are collecting your results. You probably already collected them, because they came out at 8 o'clock this morning. And if you're a nervous parent or grandparent this morning, we're thinking about you as well, because it's the whole family that helps the student preparing the GCSEs. And when you've got 10, 11, 12 subjects to do, I remember the revision and having to have piles of all the different subjects. There's so much material to get through.
How many subjects did you do at that stage?
11.
Yeah, I did 10. I remember doing 10, but I was useless. I failed maths twice at that level.
Maths is the worst.
Yeah, but then and all I ever did was with applications, because they said you must have English and maths. I just say I had maths, and no one ever checked it. That was it. So, you know, that was the way it went. But just sort of couldn't understand algebra and logarithms and all those sort of things as well. Right, let's see how the Minister for School Standards, I'm sure she's not old enough to remember when she was that age, but there she is, Catherine McKinnell. Catherine, do you remember this day, exam results, and opening those envelopes, or going to school and finding out how you did?
I have very vague recollection of my GCSEs, but I know what an exciting day this is, and nerve-wracking, as you say, because I think quite a lot of young people won't be going into school until around about now and finding out how they've done. And I think it's lovely, actually, just listening to your conversation prior to this, reflecting on, yes, what a celebration this will be for lots of young people. They should be really proud of what they've achieved, the resilience they've shown, but also for those that don't quite get what they expect. I think schools are doing a really good job of supporting young people to find the opportunities for them, whether it's apprenticeships, A-levels, T-levels, vocational qualifications. There's so many opportunities, and we really want young people to grasp them.
But in and amongst all of the celebrations today, and people have done really, really well, there are gaping levels, aren't there, of underachievement, especially amongst some of the poorest pupils in this country, especially white working class pupils. What is going to be done? What is being done to support those pupils and to bring them up to the standard of everybody else?
You're absolutely right that whilst today is a day of celebration, it does also cast a really sharp light on some of the really entrenched inequalities we have in our system. And you reference white working class children, also children with special educational needs and disabilities. We know that the system is just not getting the outcomes for them that we want to see. So as a government, we're absolutely determined to change this. We're seeing green shoots of some of the changes that we're already bringing in, whether that's getting more teachers into the classroom. We've got 2,300 more teachers. We know that is really important for children's outcomes to get really high quality teaching into the classroom. Also making sure that children are in school to actually get a brilliant education. We've got 5 million more days at school for children that we've achieved through really targeted efforts at improving attendance. But also we know that having free breakfast clubs gives children a much better start to the day, and we're rolling those out across the country, and making sure that children who should or who are on universal credit get access to free school meals, which we know really supports them to get into school and stay in school and enjoy the school day. So we recognise the challenges many families face, some of the really entrenched inequalities, but we're determined to turn that around, because if it's not an education system that delivers for all children, we will not rest.
Can I ask you about the situation in Epping, the Bell Hotel in Epping? We know about that High Court injunction that was granted, that asylum seekers will be moved now from that hotel after weeks of protest. Where will they be moved to?
So I'm not able to comment on where the specifics in terms of where people might be moved to or not. These are conversations that have to be had with local communities, with local authorities, with stakeholders, making sure that we have a system that delivers, because that is the challenge that we have inherited as a government, an immigration system that is just completely broken. And at its peak, the previous government in 2023 had 400 hotels in use in this way at £9 million a day. It's completely inappropriate. We're absolutely determined to end the use of hotels for asylum seekers.
But you can't if you've got record numbers of people crossing the channel. Over 50,000 people have crossed since the elections. When you've got record levels of numbers with hundreds of people crossing every single week, there is pressure on you to find suitable accommodation for all of those people.
So there's two issues there. One is finding suitable accommodation. Absolutely, you reckon we need to end the use of hotels, and we are working very hard to do that. We also need to process these claims, though, much quicker than they have been in recent years. These people are sitting waiting for an immigration system that is just broken. So we've doubled the number of claims being processed, and we are also deporting people that have no right to be here, because until you process their claims, you cannot take that action. And we've deported 35,000 people that have no right to be here. But we also, as you rightly say, need to tackle this at source. We need to smash the gangs. We need to get the powers in place to have counter-terror style operations in really ending this horrific practice of such dangerous crossings across the water. So there are three aspects that we are working very hard as a government to resolve, and we'll continue to do so because we need to fix this mess.
Catherine, final word for kids who are, they're gaining those qualifications today. Hopefully, if they've done well, they move on to A-levels after this. Who knows what they do, if they go to tertiary education or not after that. Would you have a word for these kids today, whether they've done well or whether they haven't done well?
So just well done. Well done for getting through your education through quite a challenging period, I would say, for this country. They've done a fantastic job. I think the teachers, the schools, the families all need to be commended, and they really need to take advice, because I know that whatever school they have been to, they'll be really keen to support them on their journey wherever they go next, and to make sure that they tap into the opportunities that are there. So just, congratulations, well done on getting to this day, and grab the opportunities that you have coming up.
With both hands. Catherine McKinnell, really good talking to you. Catherine is the Minister for School Standards.
Now, as we mentioned, thousands of students across the country are finding out their GCSE grades. Let's go to Sophie Reed, who's in Warrington for us this morning. Morning to you, Sophie.
Morning. Well, as promised, I'm here at St Gregory's Catholic High School and I've got two pupils with me who've just had their results. So let's find out how they did. Callie and Jenith, good morning to you. Callie, we'll come to you first. You've got a big grin in your face. How have you done?
So I got 3 9s and then I got 8s and 7s as well. I got a 9 in business and then in history I got full marks on one of my papers.
Whoa, full marks, very impressive. And now were we expecting these results? Is this better than you could have hoped for?
Better than what I could have hoped for, definitely.
Really?
I was so nervous this morning, I was crying and I cried on the way here.
I can hear the relief in your voice.
Yeah, I'm very relieved.
So thrilled for you.
Yeah.
And what's the next step?
I'm going off to Cronton to do business marketing and finance.
I bet you are with full marks in business. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
Jenith, we'll come to you next. Now, I've already seen Jenith's results and they're very, very impressive. So let's let you have your moment. Have a little brag, Jenith. Tell us how you did.
So I got all 9s in geography, biology, chemistry, physics, Spanish, English language, literature and religious studies. And I got 2 8s in design technology and maths.
Very, very, very impressive there. Now, Jenith, I'm sure you're over the moon, are you?
Very. I'm really happy, really pleased with the results that I got. Very happy.
And what's the next step for you?
The next step is I'm going to go to Carmel College and study biology, chemistry and geography.
Very impressive. Now, I'm imagining this morning, you mentioned you were bawling your eyes out. How were the nerves for you, Jenith?
I was really restless walking up and down the house, not knowing what to do. And when I seen these, I got a big sigh, big relief. I'm really happy for these results.
And Callie, I'm imagining, have you got friends, family with you today?
Yeah, my mum and dad are over there. My dad works here, so it's kind of like, it's kind of fun.
And then, so how did they react? I'll come to you both on that. How did your family react?
This morning, I was like proper stressing to my mum because I didn't think I'd done very well. And she was saying it was all going to be okay, and it was. And then we ended up jumping up and down together, so that was really fun.
That's such a lovely moment. And Jenith, your family, I can actually see your family just over there. They look proud as punch.
Really happy, really happy. My mum was almost in tears. My dad was hugging me. My brothers are both really happy, really hugging me and everything. They're really proud of me. I'm proud of myself too.
I was just going to say you should both be very, very proud of yourselves. Well done, guys. I'll let you go off and celebrate with your families. Thank you so much for joining us on GB News, and congratulations again. There we are. Amazing to see those results and those happy faces, isn't it? I mean, it's such a stressful day. I remember it was a few years ago for me now, but I remember the stress on that morning of GCSE results day. It really does feel like the biggest thing in the world when you're waiting for those results all throughout the summer holidays. So great for, I can just see Callie having a big hug with her mum there, and Jenith's gone straight over to his family as well. So that is absolutely incredible to see those happy faces here at St Gregory's this morning.
And so it was a happy day for you, Sophie?
I know my mum will be watching and she'll say absolutely not. I did cry because I wasn't happy with my results. I guess on reflection, I did quite well. I got 9 A's and 4 A stars, but at the time I wasn't happy. I know that sounds awful and everyone at home will be mocking me, but I wasn't happy. But on reflection, it was worth it because look where we are now.
9 A's and 4 A's, and she's still not happy. Goodness me. We're very happy with what you did today, Sophie. Thank you very much indeed, and we'll see you again throughout the day. Cheers.
Thanks, Sophie. Isn't it lovely to have some happy news and happy people and happy faces? Lovely stuff. And well done, all of you.
Yeah.
Should be very proud of yourselves.
The Great British Giveaway. Just 2 weeks left. You could live mortgage or rent-free for a year, 5,000 cash. Or you can grab yourself 15,000 if you don't have a mortgage or rental. Here's how you do it.
This is your chance to live mortgage or rent-free for an entire year in the latest Great British Giveaway. That's right, we'll give you a cash lump sum that will cover 12 of your monthly mortgage or rent payments, up to an incredible £20,000. Plus, we'll add £5,000 on top of that for you to treat yourself. And if you don't have a mortgage or rent to pay, lucky you, we'll give you £15,000 tax-free cash instead. You have to hurry though, as lines will close on the 20th 29th of August for another chance to win. Text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB15 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 29th of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
The song says we're going to the zoo, zoo, zoo.
How
you can
about
come to right after the break.
Well, can you guess where we're going to be next as the weighing continues here at Whipsnade? Stay with us.
You've read the headlines, you've heard what those in power have to say. How about now we actually get to the truth?
They would pay attention.
We go beyond the political theatre and tell you what's really going on behind the scenes. For a massive council tax hike, one of the biggest in the UK. Others follow their lines, but we go off script.
You sound like a broken record. You say that week after week.
Cutting through the narratives and giving you unique perspectives. That's Ben Leo tonight, Saturdays and Sundays from 9 p.m. on GB News, Britain's news channel.
It's Patrick Christie's Tonight, and here we do things differently. It's explaining the absolute madness of this, doesn't it? It's explosive. I mean, this is very good. It's lively.
850. Your government sat there, Sean, and it did nothing.
It's controversial. And the Middle East has been in turmoil since before I was born. It's everything you need to kickstart your evening. Everyone's had their Weetabix tonight. I love to see it. That's Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date. Or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
I want to be like you. I want to walk like you. Talk like you.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. It's weigh-in day at the zoo, and we have been promised penguins. So let's go to our national reporter, Jack Carson, who is live at Whipsnade Zoo for us this morning. And there they are, Jack, the penguins.
There they are. Hopefully everyone guessed my dreadful penguin waddle before the break. And you were right. These are the rockhopper penguins. They are being weighed. Some need maybe a little bit more, a little bit more of a push to get onto the scales. I certainly would. But they're being fed plenty of fish, having a nice breakfast. Sarah Forsyth, the creator of Mammals, joins us again this morning. So penguins being weighed. What are we kind of looking for? What are the key things that you're looking out for today?
Well, changes in their weight really is what we want to see. As you'll see, some of the penguins are looking a bit scruffier than others. That's because at the moment they're going through their catastrophic molt, which is quite a challenging time for the penguins. They do put on a lot of weight before this because their feathers are no longer waterproof. So it's a good way of checking, are they heavy enough at the moment? Are they going to get through the molt okay? And do we need to give them any support during this time?
And they all seem to be quite happy to jump on the scales when there's a fish about. Just kind of tell us about the rockhopper penguin, as a penguin, how are they maybe different to other breeds?
Well, penguins generally can be quite sociable animals. They live in large colonies, so the keepers work with them on a regular basis. They go in with them to feed them. It's a good way of managing their health and monitoring their condition. So actually they're quite friendly, they're quite sociable, but to be honest, if there's not fish around, they're not that interested.
But they've got a really distinctive, look about them as well, with these kind of, what would you call them, eyebrows? What are they?
I'm not sure what you'd call them, actually, but yeah, they are very different. So we also have the Blackfoot penguins here as well, which are an African species, which don't have those at all. So rockhoppers are one of only 2 species of penguin that have those.
So what are some of the average weights that we're getting then this morning from the penguins? What are we seeing?
Well, an average weight is around 3 to 3.5 kilos, but you'll see amongst them a smaller one without his eyebrows. That's Ozzy, our penguin chick, who's just 3 months old. So he's probably going to be weighing in at the lowest at the moment.
Right. And is it true that they get very kind of protective, and there's a whole kind of, I guess, a structure, a whole kind of protection structure when they kind of lay and then that kind of that pregnancy is in progress?
Yeah, well, we've had to step in and intervene with Ozzy because this is an endangered species. Really important that we have successful babies born in the zoo. So we actually hand-reared Ozzy for the first 3 months and then introduced him about a month ago to the rest of the colony. But as you can see, he's fitted in perfectly fine and is now part of the group. But yeah, quite often we will help out where is needed. But they do come together as a colony. They protect each other's eggs and try and keep them all predators away. So yeah.
All right, Sarah, thank you once again. We'll be joining her a little bit later on this morning. As you can see, you've probably heard as well, these penguins very happy to be getting their fish this morning. The weighing going very well so far here at Whipsnade.
Thank you, Jack. Brilliant. Thank you.
I love penguins. They're just so cute, aren't they? So cute. Thank you, Jack, for bringing that to us. Now, Britain's News is coming up at 9:30. Charlie Peters and Miriam Cates are here to tell us all about it. Morning, you two.
Good morning. I see. Well, we'll have all the latest on the Lucy Connolly case. She is due to be released any moment. We'll be focusing on whether or not it was a case of two-tier justice and what's next for her.
Yeah, and that's a big row for Sir Keir Starmer coming up, I think, because he defended her conviction, but in the past he said that people who swiftly deleted social media posts and expressed genuine remorse, maybe they should be let off. So big row coming up, lots on the programme, but before all that, let's have your weather.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Morning. Welcome to your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. For most of us, it will be another dry day today. A mixture of sun and clouds, there's some grey skies and some blue skies. The wind's generally light, still a bit of a breeze blowing along some of these North Sea coasts, keeping things a little fresh. It is a bit cooler out there this morning compared to recent mornings. For many, though, we are starting off with some sunshine. We will see cloud developing as we go through the day. So, as I say, it's not going to be blue skies all the way. Temperatures, though, when the sun is out, getting into the low 20s across the south coast of England, South Wales, 21, 22, maybe 23 Celsius. It does, again, feel a bit cooler on some of those North Sea coasts, even though it should generally be a bright day with, at times, some sunshine coming through. But we will see some cloud coming out across the Midlands, parts of East Anglia and the South East. Decent spells of sunshine continuing for much of the day in South Wales and South West England. Again, that mixture of cloud and sun further north, just a very small chance that the cloud may be thick enough for the odd light shower. The breeze continuing to ease down across the east of Scotland. Still noticeable and cool feel across Shetland with that breeze coming in from the north here. It'll be chilly overnight tonight. The cloud will tend to melt away through this evening, so generally becoming clear, and with light winds, might just turn a bit misty in one or two places, and we will certainly feel the chill first thing tomorrow morning. Compared to recent mornings, temperatures in towns and cities just about staying in double digits, but many rural spots will be below that, down into single figures. So a fresher start to Friday. Again, generally a fine day, maybe some thicker cloud in the Western Isles, producing the odd spell spot of rain. Again, it's not going to be blue skies all day everywhere. There will be times a fair bit of cloud coming in and blotting out that sunshine. But again, the vast majority will have another dry day. And temperatures a little higher, and they'll pick up a little further as we go through the weekend again, with most of us likely to stay dry.
Today, clouds overhead. Total zen within. Box Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Expect heavy congestion on the A5 southbound in Warwickshire between the A444 and the junction with the A47 near Hinckley, with normal conditions resuming around 9:45 this morning. In Hampshire, the A34 southbound between the A272 and the junction with the M3 faces 10-minute delays against typical traffic until around 10 this morning. Roadworks on the M4 eastbound near junction 42 in Earlswood have closed the on-slip, with diversions in place. And on the trains, major disruptions affect Avanti West Coast and Caledonian sleeper services in the Wigan northwestern area. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
ChatGPT.
What's that?
If you don't know what it is, it's artificial intelligence, and it helps you write things and research things, and you can even talk to them like they're your friend, can't you, Tom?
Shall we
you
do
know
some
about
of that
this,
now?
don't you?
I mean, we could talk to Chat now.
Go on, then. You love talking to Chat.
I was actually
Careful, though.
I was actually talking to Chat last night about Texas redistricting. It was very good fun. Wait, hang on, here we go.
Beats railway lines.
Hi, Chat. You're live on GB News. How are you feeling?
Oh, wow, live TV. That's exciting. I'm feeling great. Thanks for having me on. How's everything going on your end?
It's going great. We're just doing a segment about artificial intelligence. Do you have anything to say about that?
Absolutely. AI is such a fascinating topic, and it's amazing to see how it's evolving and becoming part of our everyday lives. There's so much potential for it to help us in all kinds of fields, including journalism.
ChatGPT, to which we were just talking, is undergoing a major change after concerns it was giving overly direct advice on sensitive personal matters, including whether users should break up with their partners. So you could write in there, oh, my partner never takes the rubbish out, he sometimes is a bit rude to me, blah, 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 and then they say, break up with him.
But here's the interesting thing. For people that have been taking relationship advice from this robot, well, OpenAI, the company behind it, says the chatbot will stop giving such clear-cut answers to questions about personal relationships. So that's a new change from OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT.
Yeah. I've just asked, does Emily Carver like Tom Harwood?
And I've
asked the chatbot
what does
this.
Chat say?
There's no evidence Emily Carver likes Tom Harwood.
GB News, the People's Channel.
It's 9:30 on Thursday, the 21st of August. Live across the United Kingdom, this is Britain's Newsroom with Charlie Peters and Miriam Cates.